What's up, everybody? You are tuned in to the Cris Style
Mo.
Podcast, episode 179. Hope everybody's having a good evening, whether you're at home, you're at work. Hope you're having a good night, man. Appreciate y'all tapping into the live tonight. If you're listening on the playback, we appreciate you too. Leave a comment in the comments section. We got a lot to get into tonight. NBA free agency has kicked off. We also going to talk about the Clipse. They dropped their track list and asked if they're the best rap duo. Also, the Knicks got their new head coach. And of course, Maul's random news. And we're going to talk about some other things, SEC conference football preview and some other stuff. So, uh, Maul, how you feeling, man?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good, man. Just ready for the weekend, brother. So, how you feeling?
Same, man. Feeling good. Be off on Friday for the 4th. So, one more day and then I'm off and then I got to go back to work.
So one more day and I'm off for the whole week. So, I'm excited for it.
Lucky. All right, man. Let's just go ahead and get this out the way, dog.
Yeah.
The Diddy verdict just came in, man.
Yeah.
So they gave the verdict, and he was found guilty on 2 counts of transportation for prostitution under the Federal Man Act. Those involved flying individuals, including former girlfriends, across state line for sexual encounters. But he was acquitted on 2 sex trafficking charges in the top racketeering conspiracy count. The jury was deadlocked on the racketeering count and resumed deliberation after delivering partial verdicts. Following the verdict, a judge denied bail and Combs was ordered to remain in custody. Sentencing is scheduled for October 3rd, 2025, though the date could shift. What are your thoughts on the verdict, sir?
Honestly, I don't know. It's a little confusing, I would say. I'm not surprised at it. Just based on like everything going on, you kind of heard everything with certain lawyers. They were kind of like 50-50 with everything that was going on. Some people had where they predicted that he was going to get convicted on all charges. I think the toughest charge was probably the RICO, to try to identify if he was guilty of that or not.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, me personally, just on the outside looking in, like, I try to keep up with it as much as possible. But look, if you're gonna say he's guilty on the transportation of prostitutes, but not convict him on sex trafficking, I don't know how you don't get that. Like, I get it. There might be different terminologies or just a different substance in what you need to convict somebody for a sex trafficking charge. But I don't know, man. It just seemed like I would assume the two would align together. But at the end of the day, I said I'm not really surprised by the verdict. I do think he's probably going to get somewhere in between like 5 to 10 years. I would assume. I think the charges that he is convicted for, I think anywhere from like 10 to 20 years. I could be wrong about that. Like, don't quote me. I'm not a lawyer or anything like that. But I did find it weird that you had a whole bunch of random ass people outside the courtroom throwing baby oil on each other and celebrating this. At the end of the day, I think Diddy's reputation is harmed for the rest of his life. I think you always find those set of people that will probably always support him and still think that he was unjustly done wrong or anything like that, and that he just did some freaky shit, and that should be kept in closed doors. But we did see the video of physical violence and stuff that was threatening Cassie. We've heard so many stories about him being like an vindictive person who's very controlling and all that type of stuff. I think coming out of his trial, I would say all those came out to be a reality in that situation. I don't think anybody can disagree with that, with some of the actions that Diddy has done to some of these women and some of the workers and some of the artists that have come across his path. It's just the reality of the situation. But at the end of the day, the lawyers that Diddy had, they proved it enough to where he didn't get the sentences where it could have been life in prison. Like, he was able to beat those charges. I would assume he wouldn't appeal this. I would assume that, I would assume that his lawyers would just take this as the win, and whatever they can get as far as like a sentencing. I know I'm sure they're going to work to try to see if they can get the sentencing as low as possible. But the federal government, what I mean, they failed in the senses. I think they try to go about this case way too fast. I think they could have used a little bit more time. I think they could have, used a different angle. Besides of how freaky he was and some of the stuff he did in the bedroom, I think maybe they might have focused on that a little bit too much and not kind of like the ins and outs of kind of like the enterprise that he did cause and getting these freak offs off and the controlling this aspect of it. But again, as I said, I try to keep as tight eye on it as much as possible, but I don't know all the details. And at the end of the day, we really don't know everything that happened in that courtroom. I know we try to get as much of a transcript as possible with people who are reporting in there, but I think everybody who did cover this case I think they did a great job, you know what I mean, to try to, get the feel of what was going on in that courtroom. I still wish this would have been more televised, because I think you could have had a better feeling of what this case would have been. I know there's a lot of upset people, with the verdict and stuff like that. I know some people are, saying that he's like OJ 2.0 and all that stuff like that. But, I'll leave that for them. I mean, at the end of the day, like, Diddy is who he is. He's done some disgusting things, and I don't think that will ever change. I don't think he will ever be the Puff Daddy or Diddy that we've been accustomed to with the Cirocs and Sean Johns and being a music mogul or anything like that. But at the end of the day, people are going to celebrate this man for the win that he did have, and that's your personal choice. Me personally, like, I'm not going to celebrate this. You know what I mean? Like, it just is what it is with Diddy. But you know what I mean? Prayers to all who were involved, and hopefully, people can just find a peace and move forward, and hopefully Diddy gets the jail time he deserves. He does it, and then he come out, get rehabilitated, be with his family, and move forward with his life. So,
yeah, I'm actually not surprised by this verdict, because I think the only evidence they really had was the Cassie information, and that's what he got charged with, the Cassie stuff. All the racketeering and the conspiracy stuff, they could not prove that. They had no paperwork, they had no trail, they had nothing. They were just going off of he say, she said. And I'm not saying he didn't do it. He probably is very well guilty of it, but they just, in the court of law, you got to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. And at the end of the day, the prosecution didn't do that. They didn't have enough evidence to prove that P. Diddy did all that stuff. And it's unfortunate, but they didn't. Personally, I'm gonna be real with you, Maul. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets time served and probation. And probation. I think he gets time served and probation.
I see. Here's where I defer. I think the federal government is going to find a way to put him in jail. Like, I think they're probably pretty pissed that they, I still feel like they kind of pushed through this way too fast. I think the process, just with all the raids that they did with all the evidence that they were able to get from all his houses and stuff like that, you would assume they would have had a shutdown case with as fast as they were moving to try to get this to trial and all that. But I'm pretty sure they're disappointed, but this is the federal government. I'm sure they'll find a way to get him some jail time. Like, I don't think he's gonna be escape free. I'm pretty sure he'll get time served, to the point where I don't think he'll get the full sentence of what he could potentially get out of this. Because I said I think it's like 10 years or something like that with this charge. But at the end of the day, I still think he's gonna get some. Whether it's like 3 years and maybe a chance at early parole, 5 years, something like that. He's still gonna do some time. I can't see the federal government letting him walk. I just can't see that.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I would be surprised to get time served and they give him like 5-6 year probation. Tell him he can't leave the state. He can't travel.
Well, they already denied him bail, so he's not going to get the bail. So I think that's a sign of that. I'm not saying it's a sign of what his sentencing is going to be, but if they're not going to release him until his sentencing, I still think that's a strong chance that he's going to do some sort of jail time. As I said, we're not expecting it's going to be a life sentence or anything like that. I don't even expect the full 10 years. As I said, I could see somewhere where it's in the middle, where he does maybe 5 with a chance at early probation. He can be out within 3, maybe 4 years. And we all know those years go by really, really fast. Well, it's not us in there, so I'm pretty sure it might be a different scenario. But out here on the outside with us and us living our lives, those 5 years go by pretty quick. So again, like his reputation is ruined. It's not like Diddy's gonna come back and be some, multi, like mogul. Like, yes, there will always be a certain fan base that will support him, just like, certain people, celebrated OJ and took pictures with him after all that. I'm sure there will always be, because Diddy is a public figure that people still have a love for.
He still has a lot of friends in the industry. A lot of rappers still
does.
support him.
No, yeah, for sure.
Nori and I think Cameron and them still support him. Like, I think
could you see a situation where, let's say it goes your route, where he doesn't get jail time, he does probation and all that. Could you see a situation where he gets back in the music industry within a year or two and starts, trying to get back into producing, trying to get artists and all that type of stuff?
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's a possibility. It's a possibility.
I mean, I'm just saying, people forget. I don't want to say they forget, but he get to cranking out some hits. People gonna forgive him real quick.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like I said, there is a percentage of the public who thinks that, what he had to go through was, some kind of embarrassing thing that he had to go through, that he just did some freaky shit, that he may be like an undercover brother type stuff, but what he did wasn't wrong and all this other type shit, and that Cassie was complicit and Jane Doe was complicit. At the end of the day, those ladies went through the experiences. I can't say how they personally feel. From the outside looking in, do I think Diddy's a good person? No. Do I think he did some of the shit he did? Most likely. But at the end of the day, when he went to trial, he won his part and he got his fair, due. The government, the federal government had their chance to represent their case and try to, shut it down, and what they did, they weren't able to accomplish. You got it's, I know it probably hurts certain people to hear this, but you got to commend Diddy's lawyer, a team of lawyers, man. They did a great job to kind of get the juror to, not convict him on the more serious charges. You know what I mean? So, he got his money's worth at the end of the day. So we'll see in sentencing. Like, it's not until October. He's going to be in jail till then. And then I'm sure we'll figure out how much longer he's going to be in there. At the end of the day, I do expect him to have his freedom in his life. He's going to be able to come out, out of jail. And still be able to live his life. It just depends on how many years he's going to have to be in there. So he will see freedom. It's just a matter of when it will be. So it just is what it is at this point, man. They tried and unfortunately they were able to succeed. So
yeah, for sure.
The prayers of Cassie and all them.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. NBA free agency has kicked off.
Yep.
So I know you're happy because you got your boy DeAndre Ayton to the Lakers.
Yeah.
Miles Turner has went to the Bucks. You got of course the Kevin Durant trade went down. That's official. Dorian Finney-Smith also went to the Rockets. The Hawks added Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Luke Kennard to their team to booster up their roster. Go. Where it go? Oh, then Nuggets traded for Cam Johnson. They also signed Bruce Brown, and Tim Hardaway Jr. Damian Lillard ended up getting waived. The Knicks also got Jordan Clarkson, and of course LeBron James. He opted in on his option for his money, like 53 something million. Just to name a few. So, what is your thoughts on free agency so far?
I think it was a real shock about the whole situation with Miles Turner and the fact that the Bucks were waived Damian Lillard and pretty much stretched his 130, I think it's like 130 million contract for 5 years, which I think is about like 22.3 million, something like that. That cap that's going to be for the next 5 years. the Bucks are trying to find any needs necessary to try to keep Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't think this does it. I think maybe this might get him to settle in for the year because obviously there's been reports that Giannis was recruiting Miles Turner. At the end of the day, does this make them title contenders? No. I think I know Indiana fans probably are upset that Miles Turner went to the heated rival Bucks. You know what I mean? Obviously with the whole situation, like you got to feel something for the Pacers, man. They were on such a high going in the playoffs, and in Game 7, it seems like ever since then everything's been kind of crashing down. You lose your star point guard and Tyrese Halliburton for the year with a torn Achilles. He's going to be out for the foreseeable future. You lose your starting center due to the fact that it seemed like the Pacers were willing to take a hit on the tax and try to keep this team together until Tyrese Halliburton was available to return. But it seems like they didn't want to go through it. They lose their star center to their rival for nothing, pretty much for nothing. They didn't, get no assets, no nothing back for them. And then for the Bucks, it's just like you kind of mortgaging your whole future for Miles Turner. I think is pretty insane. Like you did lose Brook Lopez, who ended up signing to the Clippers, which I kind of do like that sign. It's a nice backup for Zubac and that team. But at the end of the day, I just don't know if Miles Turner is the player you do this for. I don't, because you pretty much limit everything you have now. Like you don't have any tradable assets. You're going to have 22 points, whatever million of dead cap money for the next 5 years. You still don't have a starting point guard. I know Kevin Porter Jr. is kind of slotted in to be your starting point guard, but I don't think Kevin Porter Jr. is that guy. You have Miles Turner and Giannis, who I think who can play off well each other, but like, are you going to sit here and tell me they're better than the Knicks or the Cavs or the Magic or the Hawks or the Pistons or hell, even potentially the Celtics? Like I know the Celtics, they traded away Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis, but you still got Derek White, you still got Jaylen Brown, you still got Pritchard. That team is still respectable in a sense, and they're gonna have their pride. Those are championship style players. And then Anthony Simons too. He's a score in all facets of the game. So who's to say that the Bucks are going to be better than the Celtics? You know what I mean? Like you did all that for what? So I could see a situation where Giannis ends up, maybe playing out the rest of his contract maybe this year. And, maybe we see even by trade deadline, like this team is just not hitting and he requests a trade. I think he's going to give it a shot with Miles Turner, especially with him recruiting him. So I don't see him getting traded this summer. But, there are reports saying he's still weighing his options. I don't know what he's weighing because this team is just, I don't see it becoming a championship team. I don't see how they get any better after this. So they don't have any other tradable assets but Giannis. But you know what? I really do like what the Denver Nuggets did. They were able to get Bruce Brown back on a 1-year deal. They were able to trade Cam Johnson for Michael Porter pretty much straight up. The Tim Hardaway Jr. Signing, I like that. I know there's been many occasions where he ends up getting played off the court during the playoffs, so that may be something to watch. But we've seen it before with Bruce Brown. I think Cam Johnson is probably a better player, more consistent player than a Michael Porter Jr., a more reliable. I know Michael Porter Jr. has gone through his injury history and problems and stuff like that. I like Cam Johnson better. And then you got a nice solid backup in Jonas Valanciunas. I really do like that. The Golden State Warriors, I have no idea what they're doing. I know they're kind of hinging on the fact that they can try to sign Al Horford, especially with them losing Kevin Looney. But they need to figure out what they want to do with Kuminga. I think Kuminga is an asset that I think they low-key need to keep because I don't think they have a lot of athletic guards like him. You know what I mean? So I think in a situation playing next to with a Podziemski and a Curry, we all know Draymond Green, he's been an excellent defensive player his whole career, but we know he is getting older. So we how much longer can he withstand, with his size, guarding the big bodies and switchability and stuff like that. You got to take that into account. I think Jonathan Kuminga, when he has gotten his opportunities, he's been able to produce. I just think they need to figure out if they're going to let him loose or trade him for some assets, because at the end of the day, them just, kind of going back and forth with the situation, I think is hurting this team. And we all know, Steph Curry, I think is 37 right now. So we got to figure out how many more years he has left. So they need to figure that out. The Houston Rockets and the Atlanta Hawks are killing. The Houston Rockets, they're able to re-sign Steven Adams. Aaron Holiday, Jeff Green. They were able to keep those guys. Jabari Smith, they gave him a 5-year extension. Fred VanVleet, 2-year extension. Jason Tate, he was able to get a deal. And then you got the additions with Clint Capella, you know what I mean? Behind Alperen Sengun and Steven Adams, you know what I mean? For him to be, your third starting center, your third center, I think that is amazing. Obviously, they were able to get Kevin Durant, and they were able to steal Dorian Finney-Smith away from the Lakers. So I really love what they did. And then with the Atlanta Hawks, they were able to get, Kristaps Porzingis, as you said, Nickeil Alexander. I really like that. And then obviously, I think they still have about $25 million. I think they can use an exception or something like that. So who knows what else they're going to be able to do with that. And then Dallas Mavericks, they were able to get D'Angelo Russell. Look, D'Lo, he's going to have a strong start to the year. But do I think the Mavericks fans by December are going to ask for him to be traded and start throwing F-bombs towards him? I absolutely do. I've been through the D'Lo experience twice in my Laker life. Get used to it. And then finally, with my Lakers, like, look, I know Ayton is he's a talented center. Like, you can see it. Like, we saw it in certain aspects with the Phoenix Suns, especially when they went to the finals. I know there's been a lot of, some videos out there with his motor and his defensive intensity and, just being into the game. I understand that. But look, from what we had last year with Jackson Hayes, like, look, with an unmotivated DeAndre Ayton, as some people have been commenting, he still put up a double-double. He still put up 14 points with 10 rebounds, shooting 50% field goal percentage. So I will take that. Obviously, there's been reports coming out today that, when teams were contacting the Trailblazers after he got bought out, that there's been some positive reports about him being a true teammate and helping Klingon as far as like giving some tips and tricks about center and being in the league. So it seems like he was a great locker room guy. I just think there's probably been maybe a misconception of him. Like, obviously there are video of him being a little bit lazy on certain aspects, but I think with the situation with him being able to pair up with Luka and LeBron and Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura, I think it's a positive sign. Obviously we still need another wing. We got to find a way to replace Dorian Finney-Smith and have a true backup. We're still in a contention for Al Horford. I think that would be a decent signing for veteran leadership. You put him next to DeAndre Ayton. He's a stretch five, so I like that. So hopefully we can figure that out. We've been linked to DeAnthony Melton, and then obviously we can still have the capabilities of trading expiring contracts that we do have. So we got to look into that as well. So I think I was a little bit more Rob Pelinka needs to hurry up and get his act together, because I was ready for him to be fired here today. But again, we got to be patient. Like, it's still a little early in free agency. I know it's already been a couple days, but there still are free agents available, like Gary Payton Jr. He's still available, and then obviously Al Horford and all that. So overall, I'm happy. We got our center, and now we can start looking at other aspects. And as far as like the whole LeBron James situation, look, man, y'all know how I feel. Like, I've been ready to get away from the LeBron experience. Like, I know there's been reports that, Lakers look at him as like an expiring contract. You got rumors saying that LeBron wants out and the Lakers don't want him no more. Like, we'll find out here soon. Like, I just think that LeBron James always contradicts himself. Like, you had the moment where he was on the shop or whatever, where he was talking about, like the ring culture being a problem, and that shouldn't, dictate anything. And then, a couple of days later, he wants to be traded. He's considering leaving the Lakers because he wants to win a ring. So, and then it doesn't help the situation where you want the Lakers to better the team, but then you opt into $53 million, and then you get mad when you do opt into the $53 million, because when you do that, it's going to kind of hard cap what the Lakers are able to do. So if you want the Lakers to put a winning team around you, then I would say try to take a pay cut, or sign a deal, a 2-year deal, if the Lakers are wanting to sign a 2-year deal, to maybe help flexibility in the cap. But you chose to sign a $53 million. I don't want to hear any LeBron fans saying that the Lakers have done LeBron wrong. No, they have not. Am I a big fan of Rob Pelinka? No. But LeBron has done a lot of this shit on himself. And it all started when he wanted Russell Westbrook, when we had to get rid of KCP, Alex Caruso, and the rest of the guys we won the championship with. That's what happened. And then when we had to get out of Russell Westbrook, we had to trade assets to get out of that contract. And then D'Angelo Russell and goes on and forth. So LeBron James, I have no sympathy for you. But if you choose to stay, that's cool. I'm not going to be mad. But if you choose to leave and get traded, that's cool. Give me the pieces that can help us become a championship team. And we can move forward, because at the end of the day, I still am a believer that LeBron James at 41 years old doesn't impact winning like he used to. That is just the reality of the situation. So that's just how I feel about my Lakers, and we'll see in the next couple of days what other pieces that can get added to this team.
I know it's still early, but who do you feel can challenge OKC next?
You got to say the Houston Rockets. Like with that team is loaded. You gotta love what the Houston Rockets have done as far as in the West. You gotta like the Dallas Mavericks and what they have, you know what I mean? Especially, them lucking up to get Cooper Flag. And obviously it all hinges from Kyrie Irving and his health and when he's able to come back, and if Anthony Davis can stay healthy. If this Dallas team can stay healthy, I think you gotta look at the Midwest. The Midwest is gonna be the power of the Western Conference and maybe in the NBA. Those three teams right there with the Rockets, the Mavericks, and the OKC Thunder. And then you also got to look at the San Antonio Spurs. I'm not saying they're going to be up there with them, because I still think they're a very young team. They got to go through their experiences, and then hopefully Wemby can remain healthy. He doesn't have any more issues with the blood clot, God forbid. You know what I mean? But it seems like he's in great spirits. He seems like he's been training. He's been doing his monk thing. But they have a whole bunch of assets where they can potentially get better. So we got to see. Like this team might be ready to make a big playoff run, and maybe when the Spurs see that, maybe during the trade deadline, if a big piece is available, maybe they go after that and try to go all in for it. You know what I mean? So we just got to see what happens. But yeah, I would assume Houston and OKC are the two biggest threats, and I'm never going to discount my Lakers when you have Luka Doncic, who's going to be highly motivated. And I'm assuming LeBron James is still going to be there with DeAndre Ayton and whatever pieces we can add. So I'm not going to sleep on them as well.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Mike Brown was signed to the New York Knicks today. It was, I think it was a 2-year deal. Was kind of surprising. Didn't think they was going to go in this direction. Kind of think this is a step down from Tibbs. What are your thoughts on this signing?
I wouldn't say it's a step down. I just say it's a lateral move. Like, because the thing is with this, it's like, I get it. There might have been a burnt out situation with Tibbs, but with this situation with this team is championship ready. Like, I know Mike Brown, he's been a successful coach, but it's something that he leaves a little bit to be desired. Like, he always goes into new situations and he always starts out strong. So I wouldn't be surprised if they had a really good year. But there have been many occasions where I feel like he's been outcoached in certain aspects. And then he tends to lose the locker room pretty quick. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is, but it seems like players just get burnt out on him really fast. So how many years did he get? You said he got 2?
I think he got a 2-year deal.
2-year deal. I don't think that shows a vote of confidence. I just think this really shows that the Knicks don't think they have the coach of the future. I think they just want to find somebody who has veteran leadership, that who can, maybe potentially find a way to get this team over the hump, because this is a big year. You know what I mean? I'm very curious to see how he's going to be able to use Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges and OG. I do like what the Knicks did with adding some depth. They were able to get Jordan Clarkson and I forgot my man's name who played for France, but they were able to sign him. I think that adds depth. And then you're going to have a healthy Mitchell Robinson for the majority of next year. So you got to assume that they should be the favorites. Like if they don't start out strong, I think that's not going to look good for Mike Brown, because it's going to be easy for them to get out the contract. But again, I would have loved for them to maybe try to go a younger up-and-coming coach route. Like we've seen it with Joe Mazzulla, Ime Udoka, Mike Dagnall, that if these guys are very innovative, and then you put a veteran assistant coaching staff around them, I think that's a win for success. We've seen it be successful before. So I don't know. Like we'll have to wait and see. Like I can't be mad at Knicks fans who feel a little bit like, I don't know, like, a little bit uneasy about Mike Brown being the new head coach. I still think it should have been either a younger guy or maybe Taylor Jenkins. I like Taylor Jenkins. I don't know why people, I don't know why the Knicks didn't like that. And then obviously they were talking to Don Staley as well. So I don't know. We'll see, man. I still think this team's going to be good. It's just, can he get him over the hump? Is he going to be able to, beat out, guys like, Joe Mazzulla? Like I said, this Celtics team, you got Dan Snyder with the Atlanta Hawks, the Cavs situation. And, we just got to see what's up. But at the end of the day, congratulations to Mike Brown for him getting another job. And, Good luck to Knicks Nation, man. Knicks tape, man. Hopefully, hopefully this is the coach that can get you guys over the hump. And, I'm be curious to see what kind of style he has these guys playing. You know what I mean? Like, can they keep that defensive intensity? How are they going to use Jalen Brunson? Are they going to have him be hella ball dominant, or are they going to try to get the ball moving? And obviously, I'm not too worried about him tiring out players. I think he'll get that right.
We had to get Trey on here from the Barbershop Talk podcast, see how he feels about his Knicks signing Mike Brown.
Absolutely.
But I don't know, man. Maybe you're right. It's more of a lateral move because he's a defensive minded coach too, right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's just like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they had a really good year. I wouldn't be surprised if they were the number one seed. I say he did well for the Sacramento Kings. It's just that every time he goes somewhere, Cavs situation, all that, it's just even the Lakers, it seems like players tune them out quick. Like, I don't know if it's like a burnout situation or something, but it's just, 1 year you get that, and then the next year it don't feel the same. And it's just kind of that situation. Like, I hear Mike Brown. Do you really get excited hearing Mike Brown? It's just like, all right, cool. It's like a cool situation. All right, cool. But again, like there was no Phil Jackson available. There was no Ime Udoka. There was no Jason Kidd. There was no Eric Spoelstra. There was nothing like that. That's why I was kind of curious to see if they would just go the younger route. But you know what I mean? I guess they looked at it and played it safe, and they went with veteran.
Ain't the Denver coach out there?
Yeah, you got Mike Malone, but I think a lot of people compared him similar to Tom Thibodeau because of his intensity and stuff like that. So people are kind of questioning, do the Knicks want to go that route again? But he is a championship winning coach. You know what I mean? I think he could have got the best of that situation. But again, he tends to play his starters a lot of minutes. And I think that was one thing that I think was kind of like just we can't do that situation. But again, I said, I like Taylor Jenkins. I think Taylor Jenkins did an amazing job with the Grizzlies. I'm surprised they didn't go that route. But again, hey, Mike Brown, to me, it's a safe pick. You know what I mean? So when you play it safe, you're going to get safe results. So, you know what I mean? It just is what it is. Good luck.
For sure. You still have the Knicks as the favorite in the East?
Yeah. That team is still really good. Yeah, like that team is definitely going to be that team should be no lower than a second seed. Like they're going to be competing with the Cavs. You're going to have some surprising teams. I said like the Hawks, the Magic, and stuff like that. I think the East is definitely going to be top heavy like it always is. But I don't see why the Knicks shouldn't be a number one or number two seed. I think with the just with them bringing back their whole squad, they only added like a couple new pieces, especially on that bench. That bench got a little bit deeper. I trust the Knicks more than I trust the Cavs. I'll say that. So I personally expect them to have the number one seed. Again, I've stated this before. If Joel Embiid can stay healthy, I think that's a scary team. But again, I know that is a very long shot. But all it takes is just 1 year. That's my sleeper. If Joel Embiid stays healthy, I would not be surprised if the Philadelphia 76ers are the number one seed in the East. But I think it should be the Knicks, though.
For sure. All right, y'all. We're going to be right back. We're going to take a quick commercial break.
Introduce yourself to Magnet, the ultimate sports drink. Are you ready to take your performance to the next level? Do you want a sports drink that eliminates the muscle cramps and fatigue when working out or training? Meet Magnet, the sports drink designed for athletes who refuse to settle for mediocrity. It's power-packed electrolytes and rehydrates and restores balance with their scientifically formulated blend with magnesium that fights fatigue and boosts endurance. It has natural ingredients made with real fruit extracts and no artificial colors or flavors because your body deserves the best. It has delicious flavors like mixed fruit and watermelon that keep you revitalized and ready for action. It will boost your performance with essential vitamins and minerals. Magnet fuels your workouts, helping you crush your goals. Join the Magnet movement whether you're training, competing, or simply staying active. Magnet is your go-to refreshment for peak performance. You can order it now on our direct link at drinkmagnet.com. Also, use promo code Cris and Mal to get $5 off your purchase. So don't wait. Again, that promo code is Cris and Mal to get $5 off your purchase. Get Magnet, push your limits, fuel your passion.
Shout out to Magnet Sports Drink. All right, man. The Clipse album comes out next weekend, right?
Yeah, next Friday, yep. Or next Thursday at midnight.
So they dropped the track list. So I'm gonna pull this up. All right, so here's the track list. You see John Legend is on here, Kendrick Lamar, Tyler the Creator. You got a song with The Dream and Pharrell. Pharrell's on there again. Stove God Cooks. Shout out to him for getting this look. Ab Libba, another one. Up and coming artist. Nas got a verse on here. So some pretty good features on here. I still think that there's gonna be a secret Jay-Z verse on here. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on that Let's Sort Him Out with Nas. But what are your thoughts on this track list?
I'm super excited. Obviously, we all heard the little snippet of the Kendrick Lamar verse. I'm very excited to hear Tyler Creator. He's done some things with Pusha and all that. Stove God Cooks. I think that could be fire. But obviously, man, I've highly anticipated this album for a while. I think they've been 2 for 2 with things that have come out. This is something I've been waiting for a while. Just the Clipse being back, the reunion of it, him and his brother Malice, him being back with Pharrell. This definitely brings a lot of nostalgia for me. So I can't wait, man. I'm gonna take this in. This rollout has been amazing for the Clipse. Everything from their interviews. I love hearing these two gentlemen talk. A lot of insight in that, and they always gonna give you how they truly, honestly feel. And then just some of the performance that they did. I think they did the colors with Ace Trumpets. That performance was really good. They got the tour, which they should be starting here pretty soon. So I'm excited to go to that. I'm excited to see them. This is. I can't wait, man. This is probably one of the more highly anticipated albums I've been waiting for all year. So I can't wait. How you feeling?
I agree, man. I'm very excited, especially I was listening to a couple of clips from their interview, just listening to Malice talk and his journey of stepping away from the group and then coming back is definitely eye opening and good to see that he's back in good spirits and back to back to team up with Pusha T to make this album. And they talked about how Malice was like and it's kind of cool to see their dynamic as brothers, because people don't understand. People think they twins, but they like 5 years apart. Malice is like 5 years older than him. But they act like twins almost. Like they have that kind of energy, and you could tell they just really close. And when Malice was talking about when he had to step away because they felt cheated. They felt like they got done dirty as far as the finances and all that stuff. So Malice was kind of burnt out on the industry. Mm-hmm. And but Pusha was like, nah, I'm gonna keep going. You know what I'm saying? And even when Malice had that talk with him, like, because they just went and talked to Rick Rubin about doing some tracks, and Malice he was like, they could talk about whatever. I'm done. So when he said he had that conversation with Pusha T, it was just like Pusha T was like, I wasn't even surprised. I already knew. So it's good to see these brothers back together, making music together. And I'm interested to see, what Malice is talking about on this album, because we already know what Pusha T's on. So I'm interested to see their dynamic back together. So this album looks good. Hearing the snippet from the Kendrick Lamar verse, Def Jam dropped the ball. I don't know what the hell, dude. Def Jam is stupid. Old Def Jam would have never. So whatever. I think it's more of a universal thing. I don't even think it's a Def Jam thing. It's a universal thing, and we all know why. So,
Yeah.
but I'm interested to hear what Nas is talking about. You know, we heard a little short snippet of the Nas verse too. Like I said, excuse me, I think that there is going to be a secret Jay-Z verse on here. I really do.
So I was going to ask you, what out of all these songs, which if you had to take a guess, what song do you think that secret Jay-Z verse will be on?
I think it's gonna be on that Let's Sort 'Em Out Chandeliers. I just that just sounds like a Jay-Z.
Oh, so you think it's gonna be a Jay-Z and Nas?
Mm-hmm. Because
Hey,
you know why?
that'd be legendary.
You know why? Because him and Nas still haven't made that song that's dope. They tried, but it just never hit. So I think they gonna try it on this one. I think he's gonna deliver. Because I'm interested to hear what Jay-Z got to talk about. He's been through a lot, and he's kind of stepped away from the game and let the young bucks have it, and he's doing his thing with Beyonce and traveling with her and performing and stuff with her, and I want to hear what Jay-Z got to say right now. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I agree with you. I think there will be a verse on here because look, I just feel like Jay-Z's getting those lungs ready, him doing these performances and all that. He hasn't performed in a very long time. For him to start doing it now, Beyonce's been on tour a couple times since the last time he has done anything. So for him getting ready to do this, rumors of him potentially doing the Super Bowl halftime show, it seems like a rollout of an album for him is coming. Yeah. That's what it's feeling like. So and what better way to kind of break out into a song than on probably one of the most anticipated hip hop albums of the whole year, with a relationship that I think he loves these two brothers. I think he loves Pharrell. I think they all have like a close relationship. I think Pusha T and Malice might be some of his favorite rappers. So
yeah,
I think this will be the album that he would provide some vocals on, honestly.
Plus they're on Rock Nation, so
yeah, they're on Rock Nation too. So I just think all signs are pointing to it. I wouldn't be if it's on the Nas track. I think that would be some legendary shit, especially if it's fire, which I expect. I'm expecting 13 out of 13. I'm maybe putting too high expectations on this, but the Clipse are one of my favorite hip hop groups of all time. So I can't wait. Next week is gonna be a vibe.
I could also see him like on the last track, By the Grace of God.
I could see that too. I could see
that sound like a Jay-Z. Inglorious Bastards kind of sound like a Jay-Z track.
Yeah, honestly, he could even come out on the John Legend shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he could come out on some John Legend shit. Or there might be a secret verse or a flip on like Chains of Whips or some shit. Or maybe even So Be It 2, part 2.
Yeah.
Maybe there.
Because I'm interested because I want to hear this part 2. Maybe.
Yes, we've all heard is the OG So Be It gonna be on here or just the So Be It part 2? Are they gonna release the original?
I don't know. They haven't. It's still just on YouTube.
Maybe that's it. Because honestly, on that beat, I can definitely see Jay-Z riding some shit like that too. So I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, we're gonna get our answers pretty soon here. So I can't wait.
And I hope, and I know Stove God gonna kill it. So that's a good look for him, man.
No doubt.
Good. I'm surprised Benny the Butcher or somebody ain't on here. So, but
I thought I might have seen either him or West Side Gun or something.
Even Conway. Even Conway.
You know what I mean?
Any of them. Yeah.
Maybe they have secret verses on here or some, or maybe they have like some ad libs or some that may be a part of the song or something. Maybe don't have a verse, but maybe they did some ad libs or some small shit. But we'll see what's up.
Yeah, for sure. Now you just said that the Clipse are your favorite group. It was a guy, I don't know his name, sorry sir, but he was on the podcast and he said the Clipse are the best rap duo of all times. Do you agree?
I think it's all subjective at the end of the day. Like I know a lot of people could have Outkast, you know what I mean? I know a lot of people could have who else is out there? Mobb Deep. You know what I mean? Like there's so many others. Me personally, like Outkast, I think just out of the longevity and how many pieces of art that they put out, I think you still respectively have to put Outkast, but the Clipse are always going to be my personal favorite. You know what I mean? I was born in Virginia, so I'm always going to appreciate these brothers more, but I always going to put respect on Outkast. Outkast, it's kind of like the MJ Kobe discussion for me, in a sense. Like I just grew up with certain people, so they're always going to be higher. Like, it's no disrespect to anybody else, but it's always going to be Outkast and Clipse for me. They're always going to be up there, and it will always be that. And I love Mobb Deep. I love, other rap groups as well. But these two hold a very special place for me. So, yeah, it will be Outkast 1, then Pusha T 1A, 1A, 1B. That's what that would be.
Yeah, I got Outkast number 1. There's just they've never made a bad album. You know what I'm saying?
And got some ultimate classics too. Yeah,
and I think they got at least 2 classics and 1 really good album. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'll never sit here and say that anybody's over Outkast. I get Mobb Deep. I like Mobb Deep, and they got joints, and they first probably few albums was fire, but I don't know. I don't know if I put them at number 2.
Well, if this album is as good as people are anticipating it, I think that helps the conversation.
Clipse. Yeah,
it helps the conversation. But again, they've been gone for so long, so it's like I understand that conversation. To me, I only have them number 2 because this is me. This is my list. I appreciate these brothers a lot. So, but I understand if people don't want to have them number 2.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know, because it's not. I mean, if you think about rap duos, it's not really a lot of them. It's more groups. You know what I'm saying? Like, because then only rap duos we got is like Crisscross. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It ain't too many like 2-man crews. I mean, you ain't gonna count Red. I mean, I guess you can count Redman and Method Man, but even them, they got like 2 albums out. Like, so I guess you can put Mobb Deep at number 2. Maybe you know what? Tribe Called Quest.
Eric B, rap.
Yeah, Eric B, right? But even that is just Rakim rap.
EPMMD,
like, EMPD. Yes, you can put them in there.
Capone Noriega, Salt and Pepper.
Yeah.
DJ Jeff, Fresh Prince, A-Ball, MJG,
UGK. That's right.
Ray Shremmer. Yeah. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I think I would, especially if this album does good. I'm gonna take my personal agenda aside. I think, especially if this album does good, I think you have to put them. Let me see. I don't know, man. I would put him top 3.
Yeah,
I would put him top 3, man. I would put him top 3, man, because I think you got at least 2 classics with them.
Dog Pound. You gotta add the Dog Pound.
Dog Pound. Like, I think they're competing. I think out of just respect and legendary, and then they were featured on probably one of the best hip hop songs ever, International Players Anthem. Like, you have to respect and put Outkast number 1. I said this is all subjective. You know what I mean? Like, some people don't know anything about Outkast, but I think this will be a good ingratiation for the younger audience to understand Clipse, because now it's like, Clipse, they've been gone for so long. We understand what the Clipse are about. I think the new generation is going to understand. I think they kind of understand Pusha T, but it's just a different level when you have these 2 guys together with Pharrell. Like, it's just a different experience. It's just a different vibe. And I think more and more people are starting to understand just how impactful the Clipse are and how great they are and how they can be. Obviously, hopefully this isn't the last album we see for the next like 10 years. Hopefully we get more consistent stuff with them. But again, this is a moment, you know what I mean? Like, this is something that I think a lot of real true hip hop fans have been clamoring for, is another Clipse album. We've heard rumblings here and there, but to actually finally get a physical copy with new artwork, I think is fucking legendary, and I think it's dope, and I think people should appreciate that, especially with Pharrell being a part of that. And especially, they recorded all this shit out of the Louis Vuitton offices in Paris or whatever. Like, come on, man. That's some ill ass shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? So imagine some of the sounds and some of the vibes we're gonna be hearing off of this shit. This shit is gonna be some like luxury rap type shit, and I'm appreciate that. You know what I mean? I think this is gonna be dope, and I think people should. This is a moment in hip hop for me. You know what I mean? I really believe that. I haven't really been this hyped for an album in a very long time. You know what I mean? This brings me back to the good old days, especially the rollout and all that type of shit. This brings me back to the good old days and how we used to feel about albums coming out. And I said, we haven't gotten a Clipse album in so long. this feels really good, man. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Let's do our BetUS Surefire picks.
Let's do it.
All right, man. What you got?
So I got all WNBA games. I got the Aces -4.5 over the Fever. I think the Aces have been playing really well. I think the Fever, coming off that high, winning the Commissioner's Cup. They still don't have Caitlin Clark. I think things going to come back down to reality. I think the Aces do take that. I think the Aces have been playing really well. Asia's been looking like another MVP season. I got the Dream +2 over the Storm. I don't know. That matchup, I really like that. I like the Dream +2. And then I got the Lynx -12 over the Mystics. I think the Lynx, coming off that loss at home to the Fever, I think they're probably a little bit pissed off. The Mystics, they're not really a great team. So I do expect the Lynx to go off. Nafisa Collier had a bad game in that Commissioner's Cup final. So I expect her to have a great bounce back game. So I think the Lynx cover that, and I think they cover that with ease.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Aces also -4.5 over the Fever. I'm gonna actually take the Seattle Storm over the Atlanta Dream -2. I'm gonna take the Mercury -11.5 over the Wings. They just made a big trade. Trade, and Mercury's playing really well right now. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm with you. I like the Lynx, even though the Mystics are pretty solid. You know what I'm saying? They got some talent over there. I'm gonna go with the Lynx -12. I think they'll beat the Mystics and pretty handily. I think they're pissed off that they lost that Commissioner Cup. But I'm gonna take the Sparks +10.5 over the Liberty. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're gonna beat them by that much. They'll beat them, but I don't think they beat them by that much. So if you look at the screen, you'll see the BetUS QR code. If you scan that, it'll take you to the website. First time users only. Put your information in. Put the promo code JOIN125. You get 125% signing bonus plus 10% gamblers insurance. That is 3 risk-free bets on your first 3 deposits on $100 up to $5,000. So if you bet $100 on your first 3 deposits and you lose, you keep your money. So you can win some money, or on your first 3 deposits, you can win some money. So go over there, sign up, tell them Cris Style Mal sent you. And that does it for our BetUS Surefire picks. All right. All right, man. I got a question. Man. Mm-hmm. What is your favorite and best PlayStation console? Now, we both got a PlayStation 5, and we love playing our PlayStation 5. That ain't always meaning that it's our favorite PlayStation console. So which one is your favorite console, hands down, no questions?
I don't know, man. That's tough, man. The OG PlayStation, man. They have some great games, from Driver, Armored Core, the original Twisted Metal, Resident Evil. PlayStation 2, that's when we got Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas, God of War, Resident Evil 4, Black, Batman Begins. I'm looking. I would honestly... Man, this is tough. I think I might have to go with PlayStation 3. I might have to go with the PS3. You got Grand Theft Auto 5. We got Grand Theft Auto 4. Modern Warfare 3. The original Last of Us. God of War 2. Infamous. A game I wish they would remake. Resistance. Heavenly Sword. Red Dead Redemption. They had some real classic games. Batman. Mag. I used to love playing that game. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with PlayStation 3. I think PS4 is a close second. Um, very very close second. So I'll probably say PS3 for me.
I'm gonna agree with you. I'm edging it over PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2 had Fight Night 2004. It
That's
had
true.
Madden 2004 with Michael Vick on the cover.
Yeah.
Um, it had what else did it have? It
Yeah,
had
Red
NBA.
Faction. I remember Red Faction. Red Faction was fire. Max
Yeah,
Payne.
yeah,
Max
the
Payne was
NBA
fire.
Streets. Yeah,
Mhm.
Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2.
Yeah.
You had all the Devil May Cry, all them series, like you said, God of War 1 and 2, San Andreas, Metal Gear 2, Son of Liberty, Metal Gear 3, Snake Eater, Prince of Persia, Sands of Time. So, um, yeah, I'm an edge PlayStation 2, but I'm not mad at your PlayStation 3.
Nah, yeah, I'm not mad. Like honestly, who was the worst one? Who's the worst one?
It might be PlayStation 5.
I don't. Is it PlayStation 5? Because we did get a lot of remakes.
Like, there's no originality to PlayStation.
Like the best game. Well, there's a lot of new games coming out, so I think we're still in the PS5 era. So it's kind of hard. I think it's not fair to say it's not that PS5 is the worst. We did get God of War Ragnarok. That was like one of the best
Yeah,
games ever.
that's true.
Last of Us 2. We got
But
yeah,
Last of
I
Us
just
2
think
was-
I think it's still a little early. I know the PlayStation 5 has been out since what COVID, but I think we're gonna have at least another 4 years of PS5. You know what I mean? I think there's some great games. PS1. That's just a lot of nostalgia with PS1. You know what I mean? With
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot, Soul Blade, Legacy of Kain, original Metal Gear Solid, Castlevania, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 1, Spyro, Parappa the Rapper. I used to play that game a lot. Armor Core, Time Crisis. I said the OG, Twisted Metal, Tomb Raider. It's a lot more classics, I think, on PS1. I don't know. It's tough. That's tough. I would say if you had to say right now with everything going on currently, I would probably say maybe PS5 might be the worst right now. It might be the worst as far as like games, but it is definitely probably the best overall system just because of just the power it has. But overall games, yeah, it might be PS5.
For sure. Yeah, man. We'll see.
We'll see.
All right, man. It's time for Maul's favorite segment, Random News.
Yep.
It is now time for Maul's Random News.
Yeah, everybody, man. My favorite segment, Chris's favorite segment. I feel like I ain't done this in a while, man. I feel like we missed on in a couple weeks. So we got a couple. So are you ready, sir? Ready to get started?
Yeah.
All right, man. So first up, Keith David, the legendary actor, set to receive his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Keith David has starred in 100 plus 40 movies, 130 plus TV shows, and 25 plus video games. Spawn, Halo, like sorts. What are your thoughts on this news on him finally receiving his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
Well deserved, man. About time. Shit, man, been in some classics, man, and from movies to voiceovers. My man was, what was the lead dude from Gargoyle? He was the lead man from Gargoyles.
Mm-hmm.
He was Spawn, the animated series.
Series.
Princess and the Frog. He was the voodoo man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was just to name a few. And then he's been in some good movies. You know what I'm saying? So, well deserved. Keith David really, really deserves a star.
What's your favorite thing Keith David does? If you had the overall your personal opinion, what's your favorite thing that he's done?
Man, he's been in so much stuff. I wouldn't even do it justice. I love you. I guess Princess and the Frog. I did like him as the Shadow Man.
Okay. I ain't mad at that.
But that's just selling them short. Like
Yeah.
I love them as what's the name on Gargoyles. Like
Mm-hmm.
Spawn. Probably Spawn. Spawn might be my favorite one.
Yeah, Spawn was fire. Spawn was fire. And you know, his Halo voiceovers was really good too.
Yeah.
Next up, man, for all my foodie lovers out there, July 8th, across the US, McDonald's is going to be introducing their new spicy McMuffin sandwiches. You know what I mean? It's going to add an addition with a spicy pepper sauce with their sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffins and their egg McMuffins. What are your thoughts on this? And if you could add any addition to the breakfast menu at McDonald's, what would you add?
I mean, there's really nothing else to add, man.
Well, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think about the new spicy egg McMuffin? Like, do you think that could sell well?
I think it can. People like spicy food, man. See what it does, you know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Might hit like crack in the 80s.
It might. Next up, Microsoft is set to lay off 9,000 employees today, including the Xbox and gaming division. There were also quotes of them kind of saying that Microsoft isn't really interested in doing new hardware like it used to. What are your thoughts with the whole Microsoft, and what do you see? What do you think the future of Microsoft video games and the gaming division is heading into the future?
It's not looking good because they're getting their ass kicked right now. They don't have no more original games.
Yeah,
their bread and butter was Halo.
Yeah,
that was their thing. Yeah, that was their thing, man. That was the thing about Xbox was they was competing with PlayStation. They had their own exclusive games that people can go play, and a lot of people liked Xbox. They like their online play. I always say Xbox's online playing was better than PlayStation.
Yeah,
had less problems, like probably less money. You ain't had to buy so much stuff. So I think you just had to get like an Xbox pass or something like that, and you was good. So I always thought Xbox had the online game on lock. You know, as far as I didn't never like their controller, but I respected it. And there was a lot of Xbox players back in the day. Not so much now, but because I think PlayStation has kind of stepped their stuff up, but and then with crossplay, all that stuff too. So but yeah, they just dropped the ball because they don't have no more original exclusive games anymore.
Yeah,
like I think that Perfect Dark game could have been that for them, but they canceled it. So
yeah, they're definitely getting dominated as far as like the aspect of PlayStation and Nintendo with original gaming. Prayers of all to anybody who's involved with getting layoffs. We're seeing more and more of that with everything, where the economy is going. So send our prayers out to that. I know there's been a lot of down in the gaming community as well. I still think they're gonna make one more system to compete with the PlayStation 6. There's also been rumors of obviously they did announce the new Xbox handheld that was made by I think Asus or something like that. So we are getting that in the future, I think later this year or something like that. But I do think they have one more console that I think they will do. I don't know for some reason, but I think Phil Spencer, I know there was another thing that came out that Phil Spencer was going to, if you don't know that, he's kind of led the lead of Xbox and Xbox gaming division. Kind of like he's been kind of the face of it since the original OG came out. But there are rumors that saying that he, after their next system comes out, that he will step down. And I think that's when you'll start seeing them slowly getting away from the hardware. Maybe they're more of like a streaming service where they just produce video games and put it on PlayStation, put it on PC. We have we'll keep the Xbox Game Pass and have it on PC, and if you want to stream any of these games, old games, new games, or whatever, you can always pay that purchase and you could just stream it in that way on the TV or whatever. I could see a situation like that. Sticking in video game news, the PS6 quote by the PS architect Mark Cerny is still years away. Sony is focused on software for years to come, says Mark Cerny. With hearing this news, obviously, everybody's anticipating GTA 6 and all that. When do you think we're gonna get the new PS6? And do you think they're just trying to create more sales for their PS5 Pro that just recently came out? What are your thoughts with that?
Probably 2029, 2030.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a while before we see PS6. Like you said, they just put out the PS5 Pro. Like,
Yeah, I think they want to push more sales on that, and I think when GTA 6 comes out, I think that's when sales will most likely probably spike with that. So,
yeah.
Next up, your boy Tyson Fury seems like he's going to come out of retirement. You know what I mean? Turk Al-Sheikh said that he's going to have him for Riyadh season in 2026. Tyson Fury also revealed the 3 fights he will most likely like to have for his comeback: an Alexander Usyk trilogy, an Anthony Joshua fight, or a Daniel Dubois fight. Who would you like to see Fury fight in his return to boxing next year?
Anthony Joshua, and then after that, I guess the winner out of Usyk and Dubois. That's the only 2 fights that's left. Because I don't want to see him fight Bacole. I don't want to see him fight Zhang. I don't. No.
Are you excited that he's coming back? Do you think this helps boxing, him coming back?
I guess. I mean, I think the Usyk fight was good. It's just, oh no, I'm kind of sick of Tyson Fury.
I feel you. He's still a name though. You know what I mean?
I
think with
he's
the heavyweight division,
name.
he's still a big name. I think the heavyweight division is in a weird spot right now. I know we do have a big fight with Dubois and Usyk, but I think it's good that he's coming back. It adds another name to the list. Next up, Naughty Dog's heads Neil Druckmann has announced that he will not be creatively involved in the upcoming season 3 of HBO's Last of Us, opting to instead focus entirely on gaming development of the new intergalactic heretic prophet that we're still waiting on a release, and more gameplay footage of. Obviously, there's been mixed reviews off of season 2. What do you think this should this cause more of concern for season 3, or do you think that his exit could maybe resolve some issues?
No, I think it should be concerned. I think the results from season 2 is the reason why he left, because of that. And look, I'm not gonna sit here and act like, I mean, I've enjoyed the episodes. I didn't think season 2 was bad, but I can see where they went wrong. And the thing they went wrong with the characters is, one, Ellie. What you should have did was season 1 Ellie shouldn't have been season 2 Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
You should have just, you know how House of Dragons, how they had the younger chick, even though she was grown, but they had the younger chick and then they grew her up.
Yeah.
They should have did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They should have had an older woman, you know what I'm saying, that looks like she's about 19, 20, and it would have looked believable. That's one thing about Ellie. The second thing about Ellie is, in the game, grown up Ellie wasn't as reckless. Like, this girl is reckless and she's not very likable. That's one thing I caught myself saying, I really don't like Ellie. Like, she's kind of a, respectfully, a bitch. Like,
yeah.
Like, she just it's like, shut up. Like, and then she just do things. It's like the Ellie in the game was a little bit more calculated. She was more, smarter than that. She didn't just jump in head first. Yeah, young Ellie did that when she was a kid, but as 19, 20-year-old Ellie, she didn't do that in the game. And she just learned a lot from Jewel and all that. Yes, I do like that they expounded on, Jewel and her relationship, and they kind of explained a little bit more what happened between those two. But outside of that, you know what I'm saying? And they mostly followed the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, and, when I talk to people about this season, because a lot of people say, I didn't like this season, I'm just like, they kind of following the game because they didn't like that Jewel died early. And I was like, you kind of sound like the people who played the game. They hated that he died so early. But they're following along with the game. They've made a few tweaks here and there, but mostly they're following along with the game. The other problem is what's the other girl's name?
Abby.
you should have made Abby with muscles. You should have made her like the Game, because she's not believable as this not a menace, but this woman that's on a tear trying to get revenge. That's one of the mistakes they made with her. The second mistake was you assume that everybody who watched this show played the game.
Mhm.
And what you shouldn't have from the jump, first episode, my bad dog. I know you haven't really watched it. But from the jump, first episode, we're going to kill Joel. Nah, you should have kept it a secret
That
to
built
make the
yeah.
watcher, because you can't assume that everybody played the game. So you got even though, because you should have made it like, if you know, but the people who don't play the game, they could be in suspense like, who is this girl?
Mhm.
Why is she on a rampage? And then when it gets revealed, like it got revealed to us, it's like, oh, okay, like, because we understand why she's doing it.
Yeah.
Jewel killed her dad. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand that, but let that mystery be in there. My third problem: the scars look like little weak crackheads in here. They don't look like the scary, cult that's killing people in the game. In the game, the scars were scary. They were big, tall dudes with these big ass hammers and shit,
Mhm.
and you had to hide from their asses. Not in the game, not in this show. They look all scrawny, and so they made some mistakes.
Nah, yeah.
The set pieces and all the things, the vision, the visuals and all that stuff. It looks like Last of Us. They did a great job with that, but there are some things that they should have did better with, and I think that's why he stepped away.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Yeah.
I think when you do shows like this, production companies are like, no, we want this, no, we want that,
Hmm.
no, we can't do that.
Yeah.
We want Abby to look like like this. We want it's just like, all right.
Yeah,
But
nah,
shout,
man.
but
Yeah.
shout out to Neil Druckmann, man.
Yeah, man. We'll see what happens moving forward. Next up, Malik Beasley. He, obviously, we've heard the stories about him, being investigated by the FBI for gambling on NBA games and all that. There's been a new reports that was released by the Detroit News that Malik Beasley is minus the he's having $8 million that I guess he owes in financials, that he owes people money from rent to dental and all that type of stuff like that. So what are your thoughts with the whole Malik Beasley situation, and what's your overall feeling about this whole situation?
Obviously, my man got a gambling problem.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't spend all his money up, and now look at him.
Yeah.
And he just got a new contract.
Yeah.
Probably could have paid some of these people off. Now you in trouble. What's up with y'all, man? Like, look, you see the first few people went down for this. And you think it's gonna be different from you? They really watching y'all now.
Mm-hmm.
So be smart, man.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you. Is be smart. Don't be betting on the NBA. And no, especially don't be betting on the games that you playing.
Yeah.
Just
yeah, that's true. And next up, we have Sophia Cunningham. Obviously, WNBA. They did announce expansions with Philly, Detroit, Cleveland. But one of the favorite players, Sophia Cunningham, said that expanding to the new cities over the next couple years, she doesn't really seem too excited about that. She kind of quoted saying, "I don't know how excited people are going to be to play in cities like Detroit, Cleveland." What are your thoughts with her comments, and what are your overall feels about the expansion in the WNBA and the cities that they chose?
respectfully, Sophia, that was not smart. You are downplaying your league. You are supposed to market your league, regardless if that's true. You think in the NBA people want to play where the cities they play at, some of these small market. No, they don't, unless they just are small market people like that. Like they're from the Midwest. They're from small cities, and they're just used to that. A lot of them want to play in the LA's and in the New Yorks and Houston, and they want to play in those cities. But your league is not the NBA, so you need to be marketing because regardless of where they're at, it's a good thing that y'all expanding because now you have more roster spots for these women.
Mm-hmm.
Every day we see some player that we're like, damn, they got waived. Bree Harden got waived twice.
Yeah.
She was in with the Valkyrie for like 2 days. And they got rid of her. Like, regardless of where they're at, y'all should be happy that y'all got some teams that y'all can be on. Y'all can't be picky and choosy right now. Y'all need to be happy. I don't care if the damn team is in Timbuktu.
Mm-hmm.
You better be happy, damn it, because there's some roster spots. People can have jobs.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah. I think there was it's just not smart, man. Like, you know what I mean? And you play in the city of Indiana. It's not like you're out there in like Miami.
Right.
Like, it makes no sense. Like, I think it's a beautiful thing that this league is growing at the pace that it's growing because you have all these talented players that are in the league. You have a lot of talented players who aren't in the league. You got a lot of talented players who are in college who are going to be in the league. I think this is a great thing for you guys. I think it's going to add more money to the revenue streams. It's going to help you get better TV deals. I think this is a beautiful thing no matter what city. I think Detroit is a great sports town. We've seen it before.
Yeah.
Cleveland is an amazing sports town. We've seen it before. Philadelphia, an amazing sports town. There will eventually be a team in Miami. I think there will eventually be a team in Nashville and moving on so forth. This league can grow. And it's growing at a fast pace. It's growing faster than I think a lot of the men's sports leagues did. And I know those were originated back in, yesteryears, but this is a fast growing sport. You know what I mean? And you should welcome that. You shouldn't disparage it. It's just weirdo behavior, I think. And a privilege talking.
And respectfully, Sophia, don't be twerking no more.
Yeah, that shit was terrible. That shit was terrible. Next up, Jeremiah Smith, the great wide receiver at Ohio State, made some comments that he promises never to lose to Michigan again. Quote, I just hate them. Just something about them. For the next 2 years, I promise you, I will not lose to them. I can't lose to them in the next 2 years. What's your overall feels to this? And do you think these were smart comments made by Jeremy?
Love and I hate it. I love it because look, it feels fire to the rival. You know what I'm saying? Ohio State, Michigan, you want them talking trash. That's why we like rivalries, especially in college football. That's what feels college football, the rivalries. Michigan, Ohio State, LSU, and Alabama, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But Jeremiah, you play wide receiver, dog. You only got a minuscule control over. Because if your quarterback ain't good or your defense lacks anywhere, you can score 150 yards and 4 touchdowns, and your corner gives up the game-winning touchdown in Michigan. You can't control that, dog.
Yeah, no. But Jeremiah Smith, he's
a beast. And my man said they said he gained 20-30 pounds, so now he at 225.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see what kind of numbers they are. I think they got a new quarterback, some new offensive pieces. I think that defense should be solid, though. I think they got the best defense player.
It's Ohio State.
It's Ohio State. They're gonna be fine. Like, I think they got probably the best defensive player on the team with Caleb Downs. So it should be interesting. And that Michigan Ohio State game just got a little bit more.
But I'm interested to see how this young quarterback does for Michigan. Underwood. What's his Blair Underwood? I think his name Blair or something.
Yeah. No. I'm excited for the year. So next up, Texas star Isaiah Bond is still a free agent. You know what I mean? He's dealing with the sexual assault allegations and stuff like that. So the question was asked, if he's cleared, if he gets cleared, which team would you like to see Isaiah Bond, who was first round, second round type talent, who would you like to see him get picked up by? Who do you think needs an Isaiah Bond if he's acquitted from all his allegations?
The Steelers.
I was hoping you'd say my Raiders. I would love Isaiah Bond.
I don't want to see him on your team. Why would I want that? I don't want that.
I know.
Put him on the Steelers or somebody. I don't know. Who needs a receiver right now? Outside of your Raiders and
Steelers. My Raiders. I think my Raiders will be
Chargers. I can see the Chargers picking him up.
Do they really need him? You got Lad McConkey.
And who else? Quentin Johnson? Maybe Trey Harris. I do like Trey. I do like the kid from Ole Miss. I do like that.
He's cool.
I think he's gonna turn some heads.
Maybe the Giants, you know what I mean? You add a pair with him and Malik Neighbors and stuff like that. Maybe you can get something like that. Maybe the Jets, you add a pair with him and Garrett Wilson or something like that. I say the Raiders though. I like Jacoby Myers. I like the Beck kid from TCU. But if we can add some speed there, I think Isaiah Bond, he'd be nice. But we gotta wait to see if he gets acquitted with all his charges.
I probably say that kid Thornton is gonna be our guy.
Yeah, no. I've heard a lot of great reports, man. So I'm excited for the season start. Next up, your boy Darren Waller, I guess my boy Darren Waller has returned. He got traded to the Dolphins coming out of retirement. Do you think with Miami trading for Darren Waller, do you think this is a plus, or do you think this is still a minus?
It's an unknown because I don't know if he's still any good, and two, he was already injury prone. He couldn't stay healthy. He was one of the better tight ends in the league, but can he stay healthy? Now maybe a year out of the league, maybe he got his body right. He's cool. He needs to stop spitting them trash lyrics that he was spitting out there to the world and sell your studio equipment, man.
Mm-hmm.
Go give it to somebody who really can use that to push their career to the next level. Because this stuff that you was rapping about, it wasn't it, my boy. And you see why, because now you're back. Came out of retirement.
Yeah, them rap videos weren't working. I know that shit. So shout out to Darren Waller, man. Welcome back to the league. Let's see if you even make the team first. Couple more. James Gunn, seems like the Batman 2 script is finally done.
God damn, about time, Matt Reeves.
Peter Safran has read the new finished Batman 2 script. Now that they have finally gotten the script, what's your level of confidence that we will see the Batman 2 in the next couple years?
I'm very confident. They got the script in. That's all that matters. Put the script in. They said they're going to start filming top of the year, 2026. Let's get it.
Yeah, let's get it.
I don't want to hear nothing else.
When's it supposed to come out? 2027? Fall?
October of 2027. So we got a long time to wait.
Yeah.
But still.
Robert Pattinson, get that voice ready, bro. We're ready. We're ready. Couple more. Netflix is teaming up with NASA to stream live rocket launches, astronaut walks, and mission coverages, and views of Earth from the International Space Station. What are your thoughts on this? Are you intrigued? Were you intrigued by space as a kid and all that? Would you watch some of this stuff? What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, as a kid I was, but what does NASA do?
Oh my God! You one of those conspiracy people?
I'm just asking the question.
Where the money go?
What do they do, man? They just wasting time. Ain't nobody been on a rocket in years.
Yeah, when's the last time somebody been? No, they had you had the people that were stuck in space for a long time. I think that's what it was. Remember they were stuck in outer space and it took them forever to come back. I think they had to wait like almost a year to come back down or something like that. It was crazy.
Hell no, see.
I think it'd be dope though. I think it's cool, man. I think, especially in today's society, I know a lot of people.
Let's land on some shit, man. I want to see what Mars look like.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think there's been a lot of controversies with the people, the trusting factor in NASA. People still doing conspiracy theories saying that we've never landed on the moon. People, flat Earth theory, all that type of shit. I think this will help, gain better knowledge on NASA, some of the projects that they're doing, especially on a platform like Netflix. I think it's cool. People used to. I remember in the classrooms we used to watch. takeoffs. Obviously the whole Challenger. I wasn't alive for the Challenger thing and all that, but it used to be something that you used to watch in classrooms and stuff. I think it'll be dope. I think it could be very educational. You just never know. And certain people love the Discovery Channel type of shit. You know what I mean? Like I think it's dope. So me too. I love learning new shit, and I think space is one of the things that it's still the unknown that we still have a lot to learn, and I think it's dope. I think it's really
space
dope.
and the deep sea, the great unknowns.
Absolutely. Last but not least, Adam Schefter, going back to football, he has reported that in recent weeks, multiple teams have been discussing whether they can trade for Steelers standout TJ Watt. TJ Watt wants to be paid as the highest non-quarterback, but there are reports that the Steelers did see some slippage in play last year. What are your overall thoughts with the TJ Watt situation? Do you think they should consider trading him? Do you think TJ Watt should want to get traded? Or do you think they can resolve their issues? And
they're going to resolve it. He's going to be the highest paid defensive end. That's why they traded away Mika Fitzpatrick, so they can get his contract off the books and they can spread that money up. They're going to repay. They're going to pay TJ Watt. It's a little cat and mouse. Probably next week sometime they're going to pay him.
For sure.
Right before training camp, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear on the ticker, Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport or whoever. TJ Watt, highest paid defensive end.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and also let me ask you, what are your thoughts with the whole Madden franchise? They just dropped their whole deep dive and all that. What's your thoughts on the whole Madden franchise with the coaching and all those aspects into there? Give us your thoughts.
No, it looks good. I'm excited to see how it goes with the whole coaching thing. You can kind of custom made your own coach if you want to make a Jamal coach on the game, have your own little playbook and play sheets and stuff like that. It's interesting. We'll see how that works out. And then even with the different ones, they had the Andy Reid offensive guru, they had Ty Bowles defensive guru, and so on and so forth. So it's gonna be interesting to see, man. But it looks like they trying to put they all into this one because they know they on borrowed time.
So let me ask you, when you obviously you are the franchise king, you love doing franchise modes and stuff like that. What's going to be your coaching philosophy? Give us your philosophy. What's your offense going to look like? What's your defense going to look like?
I don't know, Negro.
Are you a gun?
I like I formation.
Are you a balanced offense? Are you a 3-4 defense, 4-3 defense? What are you, brother?
I like running out of under center, hand the ball off or play action pass, baby.
Okay.
And as far as defensive goes,
are you a blitz guy? Are you disguising? Are you just straight up man to man? What are you zone?
Blitz.
Like what are you?
Blitz. Get the quarterback, baby.
Okay.
3-4 defense.
Okay.
Linebacker off the edge.
Hey man,
Get the hell out the way.
I'm excited for Madden. I'm excited. College football comes out Monday. Oh, one more thing. College basketball. They announced college basketball. How do you feel about that? Do you? And then I heard it's supposed to be a complimentary game where 2K and EA are going to work together on a college basketball game.
I think that's good. I'm glad that they're bringing these games back. I'm sure they're going to be college baseball in the works too. So
yeah, these sound like PS6 games. So these, by the time they come out, like Fight Night, all them, I wouldn't be surprised if these are release date when PlayStation 6 come out, when these come out the same day as PlayStation 6. I wouldn't be surprised if these are the games that come out.
No, it's good. Hopefully they just put they all in it and they ain't just putting some shit out there. But from what I'm seeing with the improvements of Madden and the college football game, it looks like they're trying to put their all back into the sports game because I just think I just think that they got greedy because they have monopolized the market when it comes to football and basketball and all that stuff. And, people are going to buy it and play it because people want to play football and basketball. Even in the off season when there's no football and basketball to watch, let me play the game so I can at least get a little bit of a feel. I think it's cool that they're trying to put their all in. So I like the whole how they did the whole different settings for Monday night football, Thursday night football, Sunday night football. I like how they're doing that. A 12 p.m. game to a 3:25 game to a 7 whatever clock game. So I can appreciate that. So the little nuances to the game. So I'm glad that they trying this time. They ain't just sleepwalking. No, the problem I had with Madden was it just seemed like they had a bunch of computer nerds in there making the game and just like copy and paste.
Yeah.
Instead of having real NFL people in there giving them, hey, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that. Add that.
Mm-hmm.
Make it more real, make it a little bit realistic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should be no reason why this defensive end is running in coverage and intercepting the ball right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just my thoughts.
For sure.
All right, Mo. I want to get your answer, man. I want you to rank these college receiving groups. Pull this up. Bam. You got Alabama, Julio Jones, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy. You got LSU, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Odell Beckham, Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors. And then you have Ohio State, Terry McLaurin, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh, wow. Well, I think number one is easy. I think LSU is easy. Number one, Justin Jefferson
is easy.
I think so. I don't think it's close. I think it's close.
I think it's close.
You think it's close? How do you think it's close? Who are they close with?
I don't think none of one of these receivers is better than Julio Jones in his prime.
You don't think Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson is better than Julio Jones? I'm a highly disagree with you. I think Justin Jefferson.
Give Julio Jones Joe Burrow, and let's see what happens.
Matt Ryan wasn't bad. I'm sorry. Matt Ryan wasn't bad though.
He was mad.
All right, you got Julio, but Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, Amari Cooper, and Jerry Jeudy, they're not touching anything else with. You're the best LSU. The worst LSU receiver is the second best on Alabama, and you know this.
I don't know that. Amari Cooper was special. Devontae Smith won a Heisman.
Come on, dog.
None of them dudes won Heismans.
What are we talking about, bro? Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Odell Beckham Jr., Brian
Didn't Amari
Thomas.
Cooper win a Heisman?
Amari Cooper didn't win no Heisman.
But he was special.
Well, what the fuck was Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and Odell and Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors? What are we talking about?
They were special too.
That's wide receiver you. What are we talking about?
Okay.
Like, if we look like, all right, look, this is just for college, or this is just overall talent? College. What they got?
Just college. We ain't even talking about their pros.
So these are just college numbers, just college, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So if we're going by just college, I can understand your sentiment on that aspect with Alabama. I could understand that. The totality with both NFL and college, I don't think it's close. I think
okay, of course, because Jerry Jeudy ain't nothing.
But I'm assuming when you show me this list, I'm assuming it's their whole totality career with everything. If we're just talking about this, then just college, then I can get behind you with Alabama because Julio Jones, Devontae Smith was a Heisman winner. Amari Cooper was amazing. Jalen Waddle was special. Like I totally get that. Terry McLaurin, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, and Marvin Harrison Jr. were all great. That cream of the crop with Odell and LSU. I still think I would slightly pick LSU. I get the Heisman stuff. I understand that. But you got to understand, Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase were literally on the same squad.
They were special. They were really
that was a special squad.
But Jamar Chase got hurt that year, too. People forget that.
That's true.
People forget that. Odell Beckham was really good, but he only had like He ain't had that many yards. Like 700, 800
Who was their
yards.
quarterback though? So we don't talk about quarterbacks. You don't even know. Like Alabama had Jalen Hurts and fucking goddamn Tua and goddamn fucking like Bryce. Like, what are we talking about? If you give them LSU guys those quarterbacks, like, what are we talking about?
What are you talking about?
saying.
Justin Jefferson and Joe Burrow.
And they could. They had one of the best offenses in goddamn who knows what. That was the best offensive.
We ain't talking about
bro. That LSU team was probably the best offensive squad in almost probably the history of college football.
It is,
and that's going up against some of my Florida Gator teams. Like, and we had some squads, but that LSU offense was fucking disgusting, bro. And it wasn't even close. So, and. I don't know.
But their offense was also built differently too. You got to remember, Alabama had running backs.
Yeah, but they had running backs. LSU didn't have running backs like them. Like, the last great running back they had was probably Leonard Fournette. Like, come on, man. They had Mark Ingram. They had goddamn Josh Jacobs. They had Derrick Henry. Like, come on, man.
Trent Richardson was special.
Trent Richardson, like, come on, man. They had it all. Them Alabama teams had it all. And we didn't even count the defense. And don't get me wrong, LSU had some solid defense, but they weren't nothing like those hardcore Nick Saban defense. It wasn't even close.
But we ain't talking about we talking about receiving cores, man.
Yeah, man. And talent, and still talent-wise, I would still probably take LSU. No disrespect to Bama. No disrespect to any. Like, this is like, these are some of the greatest college receivers of all time. Like Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Terry McLaurin, Michael Thomas, Marvin Harrison Jr. was a fucking beast. Like the way people talk about fucking what's my man's name we just talked about? Jeremiah Smith. Marvin Harrison Jr. was that. You know what I mean? He was that. Now,
I think Marvin Harrison Jr. and Julio Jones you can have a conversation. In college. I think you have a conversation.
In college, yeah. Obviously, with the numbers and stuff, yeah, for sure. Obviously, like, college-wise, Julio Jones is probably the best numbers-wise out of everybody. And Devontae Smith. Like, Devontae Smith was a fucking Heisman Trophy winner. So, but just talent-wise and situations, I think I still slight LSU. It's not the blowout that I said earlier, because I was misled by the conversation.
I said
you didn't give me all the details, brother. You didn't give me all the details.
You didn't say
that. You just said, right. I'm looking at this like, oh shit, like, these niggas is ill. Like, but everybody is. But I would say LSU slightly, but I wouldn't be mad if anybody picked Alabama ahead. I wouldn't be mad. Ohio State, respectfully, is probably third.
They're third.
I think it's a battle between LSU and Alabama. I think Ohio State's third, though.
Yeah, Ohio State is definitely third. I'm edging Alabama. I think they're in the correct order that they are right now in college.
I feel you. But Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors had fucking.
They were nice. They had some great numbers. Both
they
of
did. But imagine if they had a real quarterback.
Who they have? Nuss? Didn't they have Nuss?
Who?
Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors.
Nuss? Are we talking Nuss? Not really.
He might be a first round pick next year. That's what we talking about, man.
Nuss.
Doing that to Nuss. Garrett Nuss.
We'll see what happens this year, but I wasn't really impressed, bro. But but
no. What are we talking about? Their quarterback was Jaden Daniels. What are we doing?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. My bad. Hey, my bad, Jay. I totally forgot, bro. Yeah, my bad. I fuck up. Hey, players fuck up too, bro. My bad.
I just thought about that. I messed up too.
Yeah, they had Jaden Daniels. They had Jaden Daniels. Yeah, because they're best friends. I forgot about that shit. Yeah, that's true.
So Justin Jefferson had Burrow, and Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors had fucking Jaden Daniels. Both of them.
Yeah, but they still didn't have no running game though. They still have the running game.
Holy person. Say what you want about them. When we forget CEH had 22 touchdowns.
All right, man.
That's why he was the first.
It's not changing my mind. I'm still sliding LSU over Alabama. That's just my personal opinion. Like, look, you look at that, like, yo, come on, man. That might be some of the illest. That might be one of the illest fives I've ever seen. And I'm talking about the totality of NCAA
sure. and we're talking about the NFL.
Everything, yes. Yeah, that's
LSU has the best.
That is nasty, bro. That is nasty.
LSU
bro.
has the best when it comes to if you're talking about nasty. These guys translating to the NFL.
Yeah.
Yes. Now we still got to see what Brian Thomas, because they only had 1 year. We still got to see Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors. But Odell Beckham,
we all know stuff.
Yes, they're great, but shit happens. But Odell Beckham Jr., his first 3 years was probably some of the greatest years we saw from a wide receiver.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get hurt, he might go down as one of the greatest. Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, they're on that trajectory.
Julio was great. He had a lot of injury problems too. Jalen Waddle, a lot of injury problems.
And I always thought
Jerry Judy's just he's not. I don't even know why they put him on there.
He hasn't lit. Well, I mean, in college he was great.
In college, yeah, I get it. In college, yeah, he was great.
They had that 3-headed monster. Him, Ruggs, and what was the other one?
Who was better, Ruggs or Judy?
Was it Jalen Waddle?
Nah, no, was it Jalen Waddle?
Was it Waddle, Jerry, and Ruggs?
Let me double check.
Jerry Judy was because we all thought he was going to be that dude. He was the number 1 guy over in Alabama that year, in those years with those guys. Because we always looked at Ruggs as like he was just a fast guy. He just ran a few routes. He ended up being really good with y'all.
What year was he on Alabama?
I forgot.
2019?
I think so.
Let's see, Alabama 2019 football roster. Let me see. Damn, they had Patrick Surtain on this team too. God damn.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jerry Judy, Tua, Devontae, Trevon Diggs was on this team. Oh, John Mechie the third. That's who it was.
Yeah, he was one of them. But it was somebody else, wasn't it?
Henry Ruggs the third. Had Xavier McKinney on this fucking team. Yeah, Jalen Waddle was on the team. Damn, they had Jalen Waddle on this team too.
I think it was Waddle, Ruggs, and Judy were the 3-headed monsters.
Judy and Mechie. Nah, Mechie was fire. Mechie was fire on this squad.
Because I think Mechie was with Devontae Smith.
Oh, this bum Najee Harris was on this team too?
Yes, he was actually really good when he was at Alabama.
Damn, they had Brian Robinson Jr. too? Damn. And Jerome Ford. God damn.
They had a squad.
This nigga. Damn. This team was fucking loaded.
Didn't they have Bijan?
Who?
No, it was Bijan on Ohio State, wasn't
he? Bijan. Oh, Bijan Robinson?
Yeah.
He was on...
Or was he on Alabama?
No, Bijan Robinson was on Alabama. I just don't think it was this team.
Okay.
Might have been the 2020 team. Or 2020.
Or was he on Texas?
No, he was Texas. Yeah, he was Texas. Yeah, Bijan Robinson was Texas. I was wrong. Yeah, he was Texas. Yeah. It had Alex Leatherwood, sorry ass, on this fucking team.
Who?
Alex Leatherwood.
Oh yeah, I was the one. He was actually good in Alabama.
Alabama, he's trash for us.
Yeah.
Sorry ass nigga.
Sometimes it just don't translate, dog.
Nah, man. Yeah, we always pick them fucking non-translating ass niggas. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this team was fucking loaded. Oh my god, that offense is nasty. They won the championship that year too, huh?
Cool.
Bama this year, they won that championship, right? Who'd they beat? Did they beat Georgia? Was it this year they beat Georgia?
They might have been.
Jesus, that team is fucking nasty.
Because all the national championships they won, I think they had blue.
What year was the LSU team with Burrow?
2017.
2017 football roster. Let me look. I'm very curious about these rosters. It's kind of crazy seeing these rosters from back.
It might have been 2019. It might have been 2019.
Nah, Ed Orgeron was the coach of this team. Yeah, it might have been 2019. Let me see. Yeah. Yep, it was 2019. Jamar Chase, Christian Fulton, Justin Jefferson, John Emery. Patrick Queen. Grant Delpit. Joe. Clevon Chasen. Clyde Edwards. Hey, Clyde was on the same? I didn't know that shit.
Yeah, Clyde had like 20-something touchdowns that year.
Derek Stingley was on this team.
Yeah, he was a freshman, but he was a beast. Him and we just signed him this offseason, Christian Fulton.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they had a squad.
Yeah, the squad.
I think what's your name's son was on that team too. Randy Moss's son.
Who was on? What was the year we won the championship? Let's see.
Florida?
Was it 2002?
Something like that.
Nah, that's Rex Grossman. Was it? No, I think it was 2004.
It might have been. Florida Gators.
I think it was 2004. Nah, it wasn't 2004. Oh, you know what? Was it 2007? 2007? When did fucking Tebow get in the league? Yeah, it was this team.
2007.
Tim Tebow, Cam Newton, Chris Rainey, Percy Harvin, Riley Cooper, Aaron Hernandez, James Pouncey, Mike Pouncey, Chris Dunlap,
Lewis Murphy,
Brandon Spikes. That seems crazy. Joe Hayden. Joe Hayden used to be a nice at fucking the Browns. He was probably the best cornerback for a minute, right? Wasn't a couple of years.
He was one of the better ones. He wasn't the best, but he was one of the better.
He was competing for the best.
Mm-hmm.
He was up there. And I know we got off tangent with that, but
no, you good.
It's always I always like looking. I'm like, damn, these niggas was on this team. Damn, that's insane.
All right, man. Let's play a little game.
Let's do it.
Called What Defensive End Do You Trust in a Big Spot the Most? Where I'm gonna read some names. You tell me which defensive end you trust more.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready, sir?
Yeah, let's do it.
Come on. Here we go. All right. Number one, Khalil Mack or Nick Benito?
Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack, Trey Hendrickson.
Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack, Jared Verse.
Jared Verse was decent. I'll go Khalil still.
Khalil Mack, Hassan Reddick.
Damn, Hassan was nice, man. I'll probably still say Khalil.
Khalil Mack, Nick Bosa.
Khalil
Mack, George Karlaftis.
Khalil
Mack.
Is this for all time or this year?
This year. Like right now.
Oh yeah. Can you redo that?
Okay.
Can't go back. I thought this is like all time. My bad. My bad.
Now.
Redo this.
Khalil Mack, Nick Benito.
Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack, Trey Hendrickson.
Trey Hendrickson.
Trey Henderson, Jared Verse.
Trey Henderson.
Trey Henderson, Hassan Reddick.
Trey Henderson.
Trey Henderson, Nick Bosa.
Trey Henderson.
Trey Henderson, George Karlaftis.
I'll still say Trey.
Trey Henderson, TJ Watt.
TJ.
TJ Watt, Aiden Hutchinson.
TJ.
TJ Watt, Max Crosby.
Max, boy. Max, boy. Max, boy. Yeah, boy. Max, motherfucker. Yeah, what we talking about, bro?
Max Crosby, Joey Bosa.
Max.
Max Crosby, Rashawn Gary.
Max.
Max Crosby, Jalen Phillips.
Max.
Max Crosby, Will McDonald the fourth.
Max.
Or the fifth, whatever.
Max. All right, man. Fifth, sixth, don't matter.
Max Crosby, Christian Baymar.
Max.
Max Crosby, Nomni, and the BK.
Max.
I swear to God, if you pick Max Crosby on this next one, Max Crosby and Myles Garrett.
Max. Nah. Max. I'm going Max.
You going Max over Myles Garrett,
bro? I'm going Max, bro. We all, you know what side we on? It's nation side, bro. What we talking about, bro?
Max Crosby, Will Anderson.
Max, bro. What we talking about, bro? Come on, man. Max, bro.
Max Crosby or Michael Parsons.
Max. What we talking about? The Condor.
Crosby or Latte Latu.
Max.
Brian Burns.
Max.
Jalen Carter.
Max.
Dorrance Armstrong.
Max.
Josh Hines Allen.
Max.
Jeffrey Simmons.
Max.
Montez Sweat.
Max.
Jonathan Allen.
Max.
Leonard Floyd.
Max.
Josh Sweat.
Max.
Cameron Jordan.
Max.
Leonard Floyd.
Max.
And Turk Warden.
Max.
Yo, Myles Garrett. It's your boy right here.
Come on, man. You know, all right. None bias aside, it's probably Myles Garrett. It's Myles Garrett. But I'm going with my boy. I'm riding with my boy Max. Max is my guy. Sorry. You would say Chris Jones over everybody? The fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah, he's the best defensive tackle. What are we talking about?
Bro, if I did receivers, your ass would probably be like Rasheed Rice.
I would not. I am very unbiased when it comes to that. I would not pick Rasheed Rice is over everybody.
You lying your ass off.
No, I'm not.
Shit all the time, bro.
I'm not picking Rasheed Rice over Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson.
Bleed the red, bro. You always bleed the red, bro.
But I'm not gonna pick him over Jamar Chase and
I said, bro. I said in reality, I would. In reality, it's Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is the best defensive player in the league, but I'm riding with my boy. But in reality, I would say Myles Garrett is probably the one you trust the most. And Jalen Carter's nasty too. Jalen Carter's up there too. That's the reason why I couldn't pick him, because you know why? Jalen Carter should be our fucking goddamn. He should be next to goddamn Max Crosby, because we got fucking idiots who run the goddamn Raiders. Now we got some goddamn organization.
He'll be all right.
Nah, man. Who? Who you say is gonna be all right?
You got Christian Wilkins. You'll be all right.
Christian Wilkins hurt his foot, bro. He ain't playing this year. He out again.
He hurt his foot.
It never healed the first time. He got to get another surgery.
Again?
He out again. Yes. Who did we pick ahead of goddamn Jalen Carter?
I didn't read that part.
Yeah. Who did we pick ahead of Jalen Carter?
I forgot. What's his name?
Exactly. We don't even need to know, because the nigga still ass. It's the motherfucker from Texas Tech. We picked him because he had a bum fucking foot. But nah, Jalen Carter, you know what I mean? What he did was dumb. But come on, man. Jalen Carter he should have been the number one pick. But nah, he fell to the fucking Eagles. You know what he did? He dominated. Imagine Jalen Carter and Max Crosby together. We would have one of the illest defensive lines ever. Patrick Mahomes will be getting hurt every year.
Okay, relax.
Max Crosby, Defensive Player of the Year. I'm calling it this year. Max going for Defensive Player of the Year. Jalen who? Miles who? Nah. Max, the Condor. You know what's up. Chiefs fans, y'all know what's up. He coming. Yeah. Pause. He coming. He coming. You know what I mean? He coming. Right? Hey, Raiders ship coming the shore to Kansas City, bro. About to take all your booty. Not that type of booty, but you know.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the treasure, dog.
I need to find me an AEO sound on this fucking thing.
I'm talking about the treasure, man. I'm talking about the treasure, bro. I'm talking about the gold. You know what I'm saying? Coming in there and we stealing all y'all shit. We stealing y'all happiness. We stealing everything.
You might get hell no of the week for that one, nigga.
Nah, bro. We coming. Pause.
All right, man. Let's talk about the SEC conference, man. College football preview. We've been doing it. So let's talk about it. Right now, the consensus, Texas is the top team in this division. You got Arch Manning playing this year. They're returning some players too in this receiving core. They should be good this year. We'll see how Arch Manning looks now that he's the man. He's gonna have a bigger plate, so we'll see. Georgia is always gonna be Georgia, but they are replacing Carson Beck. We'll see how this quarterback looks with the full-time slate. But they, Georgia's gonna have talent, but we're gonna see how it looks. Alabama, once again, they're gonna be replacing a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be replacing what's his name? Who was the quarterback?
Who?
For Alabama.
Oh, Jalen Milroe.
Jalen Milroe. They're going to be replacing him. So we'll see if this quarterback can take it to another level, be a better passer possibly, and get the ball to Ryan Williams, who broke out last year as a freshman due to special. He may not be Jeremiah Smith, but he's still special in his own right. So we'll see how this kid does. LSU, they're Garrett Nuss. This is a big season for him. Harold Perkins, another linebacker that's very highly talented, is coming out next year. We're going to see how this LSU team takes it to the next level. Can they get over the hump? Can they win big games and get into the playoffs and possibly make some noise with the Alabamas, with the Georgias, with the Texas? You know what I'm saying? So we'll see on that one. Tennessee. Once again, they lost Nico, so they're replacing their quarterback. So we're going to see that. We already know that defense is really good. That defense kept them in games all last year. So now we'll see if this quarterback can he, possibly elevate this offense to match this defense. And if they go into the playoffs again, can they get over the hump and win some big games themselves? So we're going to see. Texas A&M, they were really good last year, but still, we got to still see it. You got the quarterback, Marcel Reed. He's returning. They got an experienced offensive line. They got some playmakers over there too. So, but, Texas A&M has always been that team that, they always have good seasons, 8-4, 9-5, whatever. But they never really get over the hump. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. Then you got Ole Miss. Ole Miss. With Lane Kiffin, they're going to be replacing your boy Jackson Dart. We're going to see if this team can elevate. Also lost some, offensive weapons. They lost their number one wide receiver in Trey Harris, and they lost their number one corner. So we're going to see if this team can, produce and whoever's the new quarterback, new playmakers on this team, we'll see how they look. Then you got Auburn. They got Jackson Arnold. He played with Oklahoma last year. Didn't have a really good season with Oklahoma, but we'll see how he looks. Auburn actually has a really good receiving core. So we'll see how they look, man. Then your Florida Gators. DJ Lagway. He's officially going to be starting the season as the starter. He looked good last year in the later half of the season. Florida was giving people problems in the later half of the season. So we're going to see if this Florida team can possibly make some noise in the SEC this year and maybe get into the tournament, get into the playoffs. So, and in South Carolina with Lenora Sellers, same thing with Sellers. He showed some gradual improvements as the season went on. He's a physical freak. Got the arm talent. He's got all the physical tools. Now let's see in his sophomore year, can he put it together? You know what I'm saying? So I'm very interested to see how Lenora Sellers look. Is he going to be another Jalen Milroe, or is he going to be a special talent that he could take it to the next level. So,
Mhm.
Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, they're kind of in the same boat. They're like in the middle, that mid team. Missouri, they went and got the transfer from Penn State, the backup quarterback. You know what I'm saying? They got him. So they're going to be replacing, last year's quarterback. We'll see if this offense can take it to the next level with Eli Drinkridge. This defense, they're actually going to be really good this year. So we'll see. We'll see. Oklahoma, they got the quarterback from Washington State who's really, really good. He's supposed to be an upgrade over Jackson Arnold. He put up numbers in Washington State. So let's see if he can duplicate that and do that in Oklahoma. So Arkansas, they have a very young team last year, but they have talent over there. Their quarterback is really good, and they got some offensive weapons too. So we're going to see. Kentucky's defense was really good last year. They do have, I think they got a transfer quarterback. So we'll see what happens when when these guys take it to the next level. So overall, what's your thoughts on the SEC, man?
Obviously, I think the star of the show is going to be obviously Texas with Arch Manning. I think that's been kind of like the most highly anticipated arrival into college. That Manning name is synonymous. It's like the football guys then walked in the building when you hear that last name. So, and then obviously Texas, they have a slew of talent on that team. They should be definitely one of the favorites to compete for a national championship. So I think that's going to be one of the bigger storylines. Obviously, I think Alabama, Georgia, I think they all have legit shots. Obviously, they're going through a little bit of a transition with both, implementing new starting quarterbacks. I don't know if Georgia has picked a starter yet. I haven't really, looked into that, but I'm sure there's a deep battle going on. And then obviously they got, Ty Simpson over at Alabama. So that should be interesting. Another thing with LSU, what I mean? They have a talented squad. Obviously, Garrett Nussmeier is going to be huge, but it's going to be key to me to see who steps up in that wide receiving core, especially, with the tragic loss of Kyron Lacey and stuff like that. That was a very huge loss with that team. So we got to see who's going to be able to step up and kind of, I hate to say word replace Kyron Lacey's production, but it's the reality of the situation. It's a very sad story. And will they play for their teammate? I could do a lot of inspirational things for that team. So I know Kyron Lacey was truly beloved within that whole college program. So we got to take that into the account. So we got to see what's up with that and who can step up for that team. Obviously Tennessee, what I mean? The whole Nico situation. I think people would have Tennessee a little bit higher if it wasn't for the whole Nico situation and the uncertainty with the quarterback situation now. That whole Nico situation was really weird. I don't know what it will do to this team, but I expect a lot of the players to surround that new quarterback, whoever it is who's going to take that starting spot, and they're going to back him for sure, especially with that whole situation on. So I won't be surprised if Tennessee produces well, but again, coming off that demolition they had going into Ohio State, they're going to have to show a lot of toughness throughout the season because there was some inconsistencies during that year. Ole Miss, what I mean? Obviously they're replacing Jackson Dart. We got to see who's going to be the starting quarterback for them. They had a disappointing year. I think they had higher expectations from last year. I don't know if Lane Kiffin is on the hot seat. Some people might want him on the hot seat with everything that's going on because I think there's been a couple of high expectations with this team, especially everything that happened last year with Jackson Dart. So, but we got to see with that whole situation. Obviously Auburn, with Hugh Freeze trying to rebuild this team, we got to see that whole situation. So we got to see that. But at the end of the day, man, it's my Florida Gators, man. That's who I'm looking forward to the most. I can't wait for DJ Lagway to surprise the SEC. I think we could be one of the surprising teams. I'm not saying we're going to win the conference or anything like that, but I think we can compete. I think we can scare some teams more than we normally have. Obviously, I'm not a big Bill Napier head coach fan. I'm really not. I was really hoping we would go a different route, but with some of the games that DJ Lagway was able to play, and then he got hurt, and I forgot what one of the games was. I don't know if it was like LSU or something like that, or even the Georgia game. where I think we could have won that game, but he got hurt towards the end. I think he ended up hurting his hamstring or something like that, so we ended up losing that game. It might have been that Georgia game. But overall, man, I think DJ Lagway is – I wouldn't be surprised if he, in some portion of this year, he gets talked about in Heisman category range. I think he's that talented. He's a fucking monster. Like, he's Cam Newton, but bigger. And I think his arm is amazing. Obviously – I think the Gators have a lot of raw talent, a lot of young talent. So it's going to be interesting to see how fast they can develop and get that veteranship style play. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be really exciting. As long as DJ Lagway is healthy, I think the Gators can beat anybody. They're going to be in a lot of games because of him, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see the development of this team.
Yeah, for sure. Do you feel like? Who do you feel like should be the favorite in this division? Do you think it's Texas? Do you think it's Alabama? Do you think it's Georgia?
I think it's Texas. I think Texas is – obviously, I think Texas, Georgia, and Alabama are very, very talented. But I think you got to lean – I think that defensive line with Texas is going to be one of the best in the whole nation. I think they still have great cornerback play. And then Arch Manning, who's been considered – you have a lot of these NCAA football analysts who say he's probably the best quarterback since probably Andrew Luck that people have seen. So, will he live up to the hype and the expectations? We shall see. He's still got to play the games, but from what we saw from the little bit that he was on that field, a lot of us assumed that he should have been on that field when Texas was losing, having trouble with Arizona State. And then when they had to go up against Ohio State, people wanted to see a lot more of Arch Manning. So, we're finally going to get the whole season with him. So I'm excited to see Arch Manning. You know what I mean? I think he's going to be a great quarterback. And if he elevates more than what Quinn Ewers is supposed to do, I don't see how this team doesn't make it to the championship game at the end.
Yeah, I agree. I think Texas should be slotted as a favorite. Sarkisian got to get over the hump, man. He can't underachieve this year.
You think if he fails this year, you think they consider switching coaches, finding a new head coach?
I think the talks will be tough. I don't know if they'll switch because I do think Arch is coming back. I don't think he's leaving, so they might try one more year with him. And if these next 2 years they don't have a national championship, then
he's gone. He's gone.
He's out of here.
He's gone. But then it's tough because he has been recruiting very, very well. So you got to pick. You got to pick the double-edged sword. You better find somebody that can replace him with the recruiting.
And Starks has his system is a pro style ready. Offense, so he gets you ready for the league.
But then again, Texas has the money to pay all these guys anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, they do. All right, man. We'll be doing the Big Ten on Monday.
Yep.
So that'll be good to talk about. All right, player, you got anything else?
As far as topics, but I do want to wish my parents a happy anniversary. Today is their anniversary. So I do want to say happy anniversary. I love y'all, miss y'all. I will see y'all soon. And I hope they had a great anniversary. So I just want to say that.
Also, I want to say, I think we got the wrong Madden ratings.
Oh, we did?
Because Travis Kelce is 99.
Oh, he is the 99.
And I don't understand how.
How is Travis Kelce a 99?
Exactly.
Where did you see this at?
I went on Madden thing and it said
no.
He's a 99.
Yeah, we're not done yet. This just made me want to research some shit. Hold on, people. 26 player ratings. Let me see this shit. This motherfucker really is a 99. So they have Lamar Jackson 99, Travis Kelce. How's this nigga 99? Justin Jefferson a 99, Derrick Henry's a 99, Saquon's a 99, and Trent Williams is a 99. Josh Allen is 98, Lane Johnson is 98, Myles Garrett is a 90. How is Myles Garrett not a 99? Micah Parsons a 98, George Kittle's a 98. Is this correct? This can't be right. They got Jamar Chase is like a 96. Is this right? This is Madden 26 ratings. This is the database. That's fucking insane. They got Jamar Chase at 97 after the year he had. Chris Jones is a 97.
They still got Jalen Ramsey as a 95.
Joe Burrow's a 96. Patrick Mahomes is a 95. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
CD Lamb is a 95. Is insane. Max Crosby 95 is insane. Yeah, how is Travis Kelce a 99? That nigga didn't do shit last year.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who did these? Bro, I'm gonna have to send Chad Ochocinco a
I
fucking.
think Ocho Cinco did that shit.
Ain't no way. Ain't
You
no
know
way.
You know he don't be watching the game.
There's no way. That is insane. How is Roquan Smith only a 94?
He didn't have a good year last year. He got
Mark Andrews a 92, bro. All them drops last year, he should be lower than that.
Yeah, 85.
Trey Henderson after the year he has only 92. That's crazy. I think he should be a little higher.
Yeah.
How is Jair Alexander still in the 90s? How is he still in the 90s? How is Khalil Mack still in the 90s?
That's Ocho Cinco, dog. He
That's
going
crazy.
up them names, dog.
Bijan Robinson is a 90. What? They got Cooper Kupp on the same. You got Cooper Kupp and Bijan Robinson on the same link. Bijan Robinson is on the same group with Cooper Kupps, Stephon Diggs, Demario Davis, and Kyle Hamilton. Trey Smith, Quinion Williams, David Njoku, Christian Gonzalez. He's in it. Brandon Bijan Robinson is higher than a 90, dog. What are we talking about? Darius Slay is an 89. Oh my god.
Well, he was getting cooked up last year.
I don't understand why your boy is a 99.
I don't understand it either.
That shit is crazy.
Damn, Bijan Robinson had 1,400 yards last year?
Yeah.
And 14 touchdowns? He had that
Yeah, bro. Like, I know you be saying they don't give him enough the ball, but that's what I'm saying. I'm like, bro, you give him the ball. Bro, if you give him the ball like he is, he's going to easily get 2,000 total yards.
I think it's an Atlanta thing.
He could easily rush for 2,000 yards if they give him the ball enough.
I think it's
Atlanta.
Atlanta. I just think it's an Atlanta thing. I always feel like they don't get their best players. I always felt like that with Julio.
Yeah, you're right. It's low key the same shit.
They just feel like they don't never give this dude the ball enough. It's just like, and then you look at the motherfuckers got 1,800 yards and 17 touchdowns. Like, how the fuck?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I saw that. We talked about that on my Chiefs podcast yesterday. I was like, how the hell is Travis Kelce at 99?
Jalen Hurts won the championship, and he's only at 87. You got Brock Purdy at 86. Jaden Daniels is 85? What? You got Brock Purdy ahead of Jaden Daniels? There's no way. This got to be fake. This got to be fake. Oh, this is an independent fan site. All right. Huh? Disclaimer, MaddenRatings.com is an independent fan site. The Madden NFL 26 rating and attributes on this website are for informational purpose only and may be updated or changed without notice. Official ratings for Madden 26 will be reflected once released. Oh, so these aren't even like the actual ratings. Is it? I don't know. We'll see. But if this is real, this is insanity, bro. I might not buy the game just because it is.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, I'm lying. I'm about to be nice on that shit. All right. All right. For sure.
I don't know because on Sports Illustrated, I looked up highest rated Chiefs in Madden, and I got Travis Kelce is 99.
Hold on.
This is Sports Illustrated we talking about.
Sports Illustrated say this? 86 ratings. There's just no way this nigga's at fucking 99. I'm gonna look on Twitter real quick.
So yeah,
Hold on.
bless you.
No, this might be right. Yeah, it might. Yeah, you might be right. Madden is smoking crack, bro. Who does their rating system, dog?
It's Ocho Cinco.
Ocho getting a letter written, bro. Hey, there's no way, bro. Hey, he's tripping. He's trying to get some Taylor Swift tickets. That's the only thing I can think of, bro. There's no way.
He said some Taylor Swift tickets.
That's crazy. He should be higher rated than Patrick Mahomes on his own team. He should be. Let's be honest. Travis Kelce at this current spate in his career, he shouldn't be higher than Patrick Mahomes. He shouldn't be higher than Chris Jones. I get Rashee Rice was hurt, but I probably would still have Rashee Rice rated ahead of him.
Just not right now because he got hurt. I would have.
Rashee Rice. Come on, man.
I would have 3 players over Travis.
Rashee Rice was more important than Travis.
He is more important, but we got to go off.
Travis Kelce didn't do shit last year. What are we rating? What are we rating?
Listen, I got
his
3
mustache.
players. I got 3 players over him.
Who? Oh, and what's the quarterback's name? What's the quarterback's
name? That's what I'm saying. Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, Trent McDuffie. That's the 3 players I would have over him.
There's just no way, bro. This nigga's a 9. I would say maybe a 9. I would say 94, 95-ish. I'll give you that. Just out of respect level.
Yeah.
But the way he playing like he at 88.
Yeah.
Let's call it spec. He playing like an 88. In the fucking goddamn Super Bowl, he was a fucking 81.
No, he was a 65 in the playoffs.
Whatever. He was fucking ass.
He was terrible.
Fucking ass.
But he knows that.
No way.
That's how it goes.
Pacheco should be higher rated than that nigga. Okay, no way.
Relax. No, he shouldn't.
Xavier Worthy should be rated higher than him.
You don't even like him. Shut up.
Who? I don't like who?
Xavier Worthy.
Nah, Xavier Worthy cool. I just think niggas overhype him a little bit too much. I'm like, all right, he cool. Shit. Henry Ruggs was better.
Oh, there you go.
He was better. Henry Ruggs was way better than Xavier Ruggs.
That's all right. When he's in the Chiefs jersey, it feels good.
Who?
Henry Ruggs.
I know you love them thug motherfuckers, bro.
Brett Veach.
Y'all have no morals. Y'all have
Brett
no morals.
Brett Veach and the Reclamation Project.
Y'all have no morals, bro. Y'all have no morals, bro. That's crazy. That's insane.
He's either gonna be a Chief or Eagle.
That nigga gonna be an Eagle, bro. He gonna be right there with Jalen Carter ass. He gonna be Eagle. I already know. He gonna be a fucking Eagle, bro. He gonna be Eagle. Because you know why? Because they can let's say Henry Ruggs comes back, he look good. They can get off of Deontay Smith and pay him for the cheap. Trade Deontay Smith for a fucking pick or some shit.
They gonna trade AJ Brown
or AJ Brown. One of the two.
Get his
one
ass
of the
up out of them.
You think AJ Brown gets traded in the next 2 years?
Yes. Or cut.
He gonna go to New England. He going to New England. He gonna play with he gonna be a New England Patriot within 2 years.
Because when he a Patriot fan?
He wants to play with Vrabel. He loves Vrabel.
But he said he was a Patriot fan growing up too.
Oh, how's that motherfucker a Patriot fan? Where he grew up from? He grew up in Boston?
I don't know where he ain't grew up in Boston. I think he's from South Carolina.
Man, how you a Patriot fan in South Carolina?
It's the same way Stan. It's the same way Stan is from Mississippi.
Come on, man. That's like his Xavier Leggett told me, like, oh, yeah, I was a Seahawks fan back in the day. Your country ass was a Seahawks fan? The fuck out of here. You can't pronounce Seahawks normal, nigga.
Maybe that was the first team they saw, man.
That's cap, bro. You out there chasing fucking armadillos and shit.
Armadillos in South Carolina.
Hell yeah, this motherfucker chasing
That's
armadillos and shit.
Armadillos are in the desert, so.
Man, whatever, man. Same bullshit.
All right, man. If y'all look at the QR code on the screen, you'll see you'll scan that and go to the WWE shop. Get all your latest merch, all your Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, Jacob Fatu, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Io Sky. Get all your latest WWE merch, and go shop through our website. If you want to donate to the Cris Style Mal Podcast, you can donate to Cris Mal Podcast. We will appreciate whatever you donate to us. And Mal's playing stuff to the pod.
My bad. My bad. I did open that shit on accident.
Whatever streaming platform that you use, we are available. Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, Radio. Go ahead and follow us on there. Also, if you're a first-time watcher on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, that like button, that notification button. So when we go live on Mondays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and Wednesday nights at 9 p.m., 9-ish p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you can jump into lives. You can talk about these topics. We want to hear from you. If you're listening on the playback, we will still want to hear from you. Give us how you feel about these topics that we talk about. Give us your opinion. If you like it, if you don't like it, hey man, we want to hear from you. Just be respectful when you talk to us. Whatever social media platform you use, whether it be X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, Twitch, whatever you use to do your social media on, we are available at Cris Style Mal. We will follow you back because we're just some regular guys who like to talk sports, music, movies, and all kinds of various other things. So go ahead and follow us. If you have critiques or feedback, or if you have a question or topic and we like said question or topic, we will bring it up on the show. We'll shout you out on the show because we want to show love to those who show love to us. So go ahead and hit us up via DM, email, or our mentions. All right, good people. Appreciate the 9 that was rocking it, 9-10 that was rocking with us tonight. We'll be back on Monday. Go ahead and tap in with us. We'll probably have some more NBA stuff, maybe some NFL stuff, some WNBA stuff. Maybe we'll talk about
college
football, Big Ten stuff.
College football 26 release day.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a lot of stuff to talk about on Monday. So
Mm-hmm.
until then, you guys have a great 4th of July. Be safe out there with your families. Don't get into it with your auntie and your uncles and your cousins.
Yeah, and don't hold the fireworks like homie did last year. The dude that blew his hand up. Just throw that shit. Light it, throw. Remember, people, light it, throw. Light it, throw. Light it,
Stop being cool. Don't be cool. Trying to hold it too long.
Bro. Nah.
Blow your hand
lost a
off.
whole hand last year, bro. It's not even
You know what I'm saying? Don't do that to yourself.
Nah.
Don't warn yourself like that. All right.
Don't make no 4th of July babies. Don't do that. Well,
but that's what you want to do.
That's what you want to do. Chill, wrap it up. Be careful. Be safe out there, people.
Be safe. Be safe with your alcohol intake. And eat plenty of good food, man. And that one auntie that don't know how to cook don't need their potato salad.
Yeah, you see raisins in that bitch, run.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. But until Monday, we out, people.
Adios.